Hello, all. Christina the Sphinx here. I'm here with my little sis, the North Remembers. Say hi, North.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Sphinx.
Of course, that's automatic. You're my baby sis. We are the Not So Silent Sisters, and we're about to chit chat about Game of Thrones, Season 6, Episode 5, aka the show that ruined my life. Candace, top initial thoughts. Show was done. You called me up. I think we cried together. I think we've hugged like over the phone. It was emotional. What are your thoughts?
Can you hear me? Okay. My top initial thoughts were effing sad. I didn't think anything could top the Red Wedding level of sadness I felt to see Jane Westerling slash Talisa and her unborn child get shanked hard. But thank you, Dan and Dave, for showing me that I am still human. And my hard degree of what's the word I said the other day? Like so used to this violence and this medieval sense of justice. We're like, that's okay, you know, because we're thinking of Game of Thrones world. But sad, I was sad. Why not just sad?
I think the word you're looking for is desensitized. You know, like where you get so used to something and so it's not so bad when you see it. So I mean, after seeing an unborn baby get stabbed in the gut, you're like, how much worse could it get than that? Turns out, yes, it can get worse because they can cause another kid to warg into a sweet innocent boy to the point to where he's mentally changed for the rest of his life at the same time that that same person is sacrificing himself while being warged to save that same person. It's still too much. It's still too soon. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you and you guys let us know if we have any echo problems because we're trying to work out our sound situation. So we're trying to, Candace, we're gonna try to mute when we can, but it's also hard the way me and you talk, to take turns and make it all so official with the muting because how we do we get on the phone, we're like, oh my God, dude, what, dude? So if it happens, it happens. But you guys, if anybody watching, just let us know if you hear any echo issues or audio issues, okay? Candace, I'm going to let you start us off because you take the show notes and you got it. So hick it up, girl.
Okay, can you hear me? At first, and my notes were a little sketchy because on the second rewatch I was still absorbing my emotional response. But started, and that's why I started off my notes with the Sansa and Baelish scene. She got the letter. She was sewing. That was kind of irrelevant at the moment, and she gets the letter and she goes to Mole's Town. Where, so initially I had a little chuckle. I was like, "Oh, that's so funny. That's where the whores are." Peter with his little slick stuff, with his little, they're plotting and looking off like he's in a soap opera, facing the distance. Hey, Sansa, when I heard you escaped, I was so worried about you, and it's like at the door waiting for him, like, what do you mean you heard I escaped? I'm like, what the hell? Where did you know? Love the fact that she said, you're either an idiot or you're my enemy. Be pissed. And I don't mean to put you on blast, Sphinx, but you said she's not going to be pissed. He didn't know any better. And I was like, know better according to her. After all the things that have happened to her, that dude left her there on his little chess game. And so, opening scene, I was vindicated. I was like, Sansa's pissed. I think of her basically, even just in that scene, she pulled a Cersei on him. She actually pulled a reverse what he did to Brienne on him, because when Brienne ran into her at the inn at the crossroads and take her off, he said, you didn't protect her mother, who are you? who else was she point? Renly, you know. So it was epic to see the flip flop and to see Tyre just like he doesn't want to be in. I was gonna kill him and just walk out of there, but it was nice to see that kind of mental game. She's like, I learned from the best, and gave him a little wink in the gun. That's my beginning intro of the show.
Yeah, I actually really liked that this season they're just giving it to us off top, and I'm so thankful for that. They're not making us wait like a whole episode to give us like these interactions. Like last episode, first scene, Sansa's rolling up, you know, Jon Snow talking to Ed, and then, you know, Sansa gets there. Like we were all, well, I was worried she wouldn't make it there in time, so that was really important to me. And so when they showed me that first, I was like, thank you. Now I can exhale and enjoy the rest of the episode. So for me, like this was the same thing, like boom, Sansa's doing her sewing. It actually has a purpose, because when you're starting a revolution, you need gear, and Sansa can make gear. So
you need outfits. You have to have outfits so both sides don't get confused.
You have to be matching. Like you have to.
Ask Renly. Renly said it. If we both had the crown tag, I guess our armies would be confused.
But you know what though? If they're going to go on a politicking mission around Westeros to get, or around the north to gather houses to their cause, they need to look the part, right? It matters. It makes a difference. Now they're all furred up. They got the Stark emblem ablazing. You know, they're ready. They're like rolling out. And you would think that that was a ship you would be safe to jump on. They've got a sworn big chick and like a red priestess and the onion knight and wildlings, and they're like, and we're good. Like, look, we're healthy. We've got our clothes and our outfits. We look like Starks. We're Starks. We need your help. So I said, okay, I see you, Sansa, with your little sewing skills. But oh, my favorite. Okay, yes, Candace, yes, I said that Sansa was gonna accept his help. I did, and I'm still not wrong in that, because I don't know what else Peter's going to do, like just go home or, you know what. I think he's going to pull a Jorah Mormont and stick around and still kind of like try to show up when they need help and still help. I have this vision in my head of him just rolling up and like being the savior, even though we know what Peter is. But you guys know I love Peter. He's my dude. But I don't know. I just don't think that he's out of it completely. But this scene, my favorite parts were, first of all, that he didn't try to give like this whole monologue and speech, because that would have pissed me off. He was just like, I know, I can't change it. I'm sorry. That was literally like the gist of what he said. And the way Sansa was making him say it, like, say what happened to me. Say it. You know what he did to me? Like, say the words. I was like, yes, that's how you make somebody own something. Like, you make them say it. And he's like, did he cut you? And she's like, oh, so you did know. But I didn't know. Like, he cuts people? He cuts Sansa? He's a cutter?
We don't really know. We don't really know, you know, the extent of her abuse, but we do know that when she begged Ramsay to help her, I'm sorry, the dog's crying. When she begged Ramsay to help her.
I thought somebody was dying in your house.
Napoleon, I got to put him out. When she begged Ramsay to help her. She don't laugh. He's not quite a direwolf. And she was like, he hurts me every night. Huh?
I'm sorry. I was just saying, Polly's the opposite of a direwolf. He's like a undirewolf.
Yeah.
You should let people see your direwolf. Show it. Show him.
No.
Show him.
I think he hears you or something. He's freaking out. But what was I saying about Sansa? Her statement, I think, just was to kind of fill in some of the gaps. We didn't know what happened.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I was trying to respond in chat.
I was just saying that her statement that, you know, you knew him when he said, did he cut you? She knew he was a slave man. I mean, obviously she was trying to hit Littlefinger a little bit low. Like, come on, do you mean to tell me that you thought they were good people?
Okay.
Family's history is this, and of course and yeah, if you think cut, you're kind of close.
Like a miniature version of being flayed?
Yeah, I doubt that he probably cut her. He probably didn't mark her up or anything. Let me put the dog out. Okay?
Go ahead, mute yourself so that I don't get any feedback while you're gone. But Pamela Evans Shink, I saw your question. Why didn't she tell John? And I just kind of think that she didn't tell him because she knew, and it wasn't just she didn't tell John. She didn't tell, like, it was a room full of people. They were all sitting there waiting for that answer. So I think she didn't want Peter's help. And if she would have said where she got the information from, then they would have been like, I'm sorry, are you saying that Peter's like right over there with 2,000 knights from the Vale? Like, we need that. What are you doing? And she'd have been like, but he gave me away to the Boltons, and that's just lame. And they'd have been like, we're fighting a war. We need his help. So I felt like, I don't know what we're going to call their council, their war council, but I felt like she thought that they would have made the logical choice, which was to accept Peter's help, and she didn't want Peter's help. So she knew if she said that he was there, then they would have been like, okay, we need to go get those Knights of the Vale, like we totally need them. And she's like, but I don't like that guy. He gets on my nerves. And she probably would have been outvoted, so to speak. That's why I thought she kept it to herself. I've seen stuff online where people say she's little fingering and being all manipulative or something. But I think it's just like a standard, simple thing. I don't want you to know that this is here, so I can't tell you. You know what I mean? Did you hear any of that, Candace? I did like an epic monologue.
I really did. I had you on. I took my headphones off so I could hear you while I was putting the dog up. I was bothered by that scene because I was hoping for instant, the two people that don't have to think someone wants to kill the other one. Kind of realistic because we have the question mark of the reality that she doesn't really know John. She trusts him as much as she trusts anybody on earth, but that's not saying much, you know? I don't think, though, that she lied for that reason. I think that it's more likely that she lied because she didn't want that small council, which I freaking love the combination of, to say that was a good idea, because I think 99% of us know it was a good idea for the Vale. I mean, she had an army right there. The Vale has been untouched and involved in none of these wars, and that was not a good tactical decision.
Well, mine.
Littlefinger, but it wasn't the best tactical decision to say no, but I totally loved that she said no.
I would just like to point out that we both just said mind you at the same time. I was trying to say mind you, and you were saying mind you, and
you're still muted, Chris.
We're so oh, I'm muted? You can't hear me?
You were muted. What'd you say?
Oh, I was just saying that I thought it was funny. We both said mind you at the same time. I don't think you could hear me because I was muted, but right as you said, mind you, blah, 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 I was like, well, mind you, like trying to cut you off, but I was muted.
I didn't. I didn't. So that was the Cersei-esque move she made. I also love that she showed restraint and she didn't have Brienne kill him. For one, because I want to see how much Pattaya is up to, but for two, kind of like a show to us as the viewer that Sansa's not an evil. If she becomes a leader, whether it's the North or the Realm, she's going to be a just person. She could have had Brienne cut him down, and Brienne had her hand on her, Lady Sansa asked you a question, fool, answer the damn question. And, you know, he played out like he was punk. I'm sure there was nice people waiting around to help him out, and I just love that as far as Sansa knew, she could have had him cut down. And she truly could have had him cut down. He would have died before anybody got in there because Bree's a fucking G. But,
He's done, like,
you know, she showed restraint. She just wanted to let him know that power is power. Game recognized game.
How cool was it, though, when she walked in the room and then, like, Brienne walks up behind her, like, mm-hmm.
I love Brienne. If I had to have a big homie, that'd be my big homie right there.
If I could find a banner for House Tarth, like, I might need to make it myself. Or maybe I can hire Sansa to sew it for me.
Yeah, that would be epic. I need a Tarth banner just for Brienne alone. I don't care who her dad is. I just need that in my life, in my room.
If anybody can find me a House Tarth banner, please give me the link. Give me the artist, the maker, somebody, because I'm tearing them all down, and Tarth is going up. Brienne is holding it down. And I'm gonna get into her and Brevane later. Tormund. Oh, I'm shipping that. But moving on. Okay, what's next, Cakes? I mean, Candace.
What's in your cup? All right, so um, the sippy cup, the mug, coffee. My next note, and I want to finish Littlefinger. Just one quick thing. Do we believe that he was knowledgeable and telling the truth about the Blackfish? I keep going from book to show. Did the Blackfish gather his army, and is he there at River Run? Is that a setup, or is that true?
There. I'm sorry. No, he's there, but he's under siege in the books, and that threw me off too. And then I was like, note to self: go back and reread. Did I miss something? And anybody in the chat, you guys, let me know. Are we missing something in the Riverlands? Because last I heard, River Run was under siege by the Lannisters, and we saw photos in like filming leaks of the Lannister tents outside of River Run, like literally the big red tents all around it. And even they built, is it where they hang the parapets? Am I saying the word right? I've only heard Ward Darcy say it. So they like I saw them constructing it. So when he said, you know, your uncle's at River Run and he's good, he's got an army, I was like, that confused me. I'm still confused.
I think I have the answer for that. I believe that he's trying to pull a savior moment. I think River Run is still under siege, which is how Jaime's going to end up going out there, because he's out there to negotiate. I think that Petyr, Lord Baelish, sent Sansa, or is trying to send Sansa that way. He's trying to pull a Tywin Lannister at the Battle of the Blackwater. He's like, it's all going to be going down, and you're going to remember that I freaking saved you. I'm still here for you, like a la Jorah. Like, I love you, boo. So what if could be my goal sign? He's not going away. That dude's like sprung on the redheaded Went women.
I didn't think he was
totally went flying.
Going away, but to just send her whole army or any of them into a pointless area just so he could come, I don't know, that seems a little too risky, like way too risky. And we've seen, I don't know if you've seen this, but I say we because I was a person stalking anything I could find online in regards to this season. So like any picture, any piece of cloth, any piece of paper that maybe was on the set, like I was trying to read it. And there were pictures of Brienne and Podrick in River Run, inside, not on the outside, like they're in there. So I guess if it's under siege, they probably wouldn't be able to get in.
I have a theory for that as well.
Of course you do.
I believe that, and I'm not saying that Littlefinger is the savior. There could be other armies that are coming, but if this dude's not going to quit, back. His whole goal in life is collecting and foster children. Sansa's got no parents. She has a freaking key to the north. Her to get to his own end, which we still haven't figured out. So part of me is thinking that we saw like an arm get Podrick, and people were saying that was maybe Bran. And it could be anybody trying to say, don't go in there yet. We're all out here about to like wreck shit, you know. Brienne, who I believe is going to go there with Pod, shows up. He's already anticipated that either Sansa was going to say, yes, I'll get your help, or fuck you, go away. And so he had plan A and plan B. That dude always has plan A and plan B. It's a risky game. I mean, at the whims of the children, at Sweet Robin. He didn't know Sweet Robin was going to take his word and not throw Royce through the freaking moon door immediately. 50-50 chance. I got an army.
Know that.
If he tries, I got to play Sweet Robin a whole other kind of way. Freaking master manipulator. Yeah.
I like
That's all I have to say.
Five ass. No, Kyle, not the current riddle. I'm gonna make you your own riddle. But yes, Bright Roar was the answer to my riddle for this week, and I did announce a winner on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, go check. C underscore the Sphinx. I had it written down, but it's not on my current papers. But I posted my riddle winner, and you got a T-shirt coming your way. Okay, that just happened in the chat. I'm sorry, that was random. Um, so after, are you done with Sansa? The first Sansa stuff?
Yes, done.
Ready to move on to Arya Stark getting her butt kicked?
The Mayweather Pacquiao fight? Yes. Okay.
I have a,
You want to
I
go?
need I need another Arya in the wave fight scene. Like I need another High Sparrow monologue. Like really, why? 5 episodes of this ass kicking. How long does it have to go on?
So I believe we have to hate the waif enough. It's like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. Biatch. So ultimately, what I believe will happen is there's going to be like an Arya final fight. Like, even if it's not a physical moment, she's done with this shit. She's like, oh, she might not be waif ready, whether that's important or not in Westeros. She's not without the skill to protect herself and to kill some people. And but she's going to leave soon. I know Jockin was given a second chance. There will not be a third. But I actually like seeing the ass whoopings because every time somebody's getting, they turn around and they become a beast. Way because if I was like a CIA operative slash, whatever they are, you're supposed to not have. There's no sympathy there. It's like a drill sergeant. It's like, get up, you little maggot. Like she's kicked her ass in this little stony little stair step fighting pit. The ass gets very like, I love it because it's two chicks really giving it 100, and I like a champ, and she gets back up. I always knew that kid had heart. I love her. And she's going to do something with those ass whoopings. She's not just standing around getting beaten for no reason, in the same way that Sansa wasn't standing around demise for no reason. It's a character builder. Arya was already mentally strong and gave her fighting skills. So I love every waif montage. I feel like the waif's going to get hurt in the end.
It's fine. Say what you gotta say, sis. That's why we're here. Because we don't have time. Like, we literally only have this time to, like, really talk about it. And unfortunately, all of our friends have to listen to our rambling if they're watching this. But this is how we've been rambling for a couple years now, watching the show, and this is how we do. But as far as these two together, dude, when the wave threw down that stick and was like, put up your dukes. Put up your dukes. I was like, she squared up on her. She squared up. They're about to go bam, bam, bam. I actually got kind of hyped at that point, like for the first time. I've been watching the wave beat her ass all season, but when she did this, I was like,
oh, you want to talk about mama?
Mama, hold up, bitch. You don't know me like that. I got turned. And then she got punched in the face and knocked out. And I was just like, huh. 'Tis the huge. So tell me your thoughts on when, because you're the theory crafter, when the wave says, go home before it's too late.
This is another reason I like the wave. I feel like she's there for a purpose. Maybe driving the plot. They know that Arya's been lying, man. That kid, she has nowhere to belong. But she's been trying, and she's not 100. She's not keeping it 100. She does not fully feel like that, and they believe that. And I think that Lady Stark is like a nod to the fact that her and Jockin don't believe her. They might not, but they don't believe her. This kid's been running around for a couple years with a list. A few of them people on her list. She did a B-nard like Omar on The Wire, where the little boy just shanked one of the main villains. Like, she's and it's hard to bring somebody that's so committed to vengeance to forget all their past and vengeance. It was one, a nod to the fact that they know that, and that they actually believe her. And I think they sent her to that mercy play, which is my next segment. They sent her there because they want her to flash and become her. It's a weird dynamic. I'm not sure. They picked the freaking most volatile child they can find.
I know.
And are pretending that they believe that she's freaking no one. This kid is committed to her freaking history. And that play, you saw it in her eyes. Maisie Williams killed it, man. She had every moment that I had when I was like, fuck that shit. They cut that head off. You know, Sam Cersei stood there and, oh, Robert and his sorry ass. And, you know, it was perfectly directed to bring back the viewer into feeling what Arya felt and empathy for Arya, because I don't care for the idea that people say she's sadistic and she's evil. That kid is through a lot of shit when she was, what, 10? And now, and somebody killed my mother and my father, and just when I thought I was getting to these people, my brother, she was 10. She can't process the right way to make justice. And, you know, the Faceless Men are using her for something. Just for her to not be Arya. They're using her Arya skill set. Play out, or we may see her leave before then. But I'm so excited about the House of Black and White. Like, they taught her, and she's going forth to be like Josephine Bourne.
I like that, Josephine Bourne. Okay. But can you just leave? Can you go sign up? It's like joining the army, and then you're in there.
No, I actually noticed something. I'm sorry.
FYI for people, because you've already made a military reference, so we probably need to put it out there that both of us are Army veterans. My sister is hardcore. She went to Iraq, and she fought like in actual wars. I was in the Army too, but I'm a nurse, and I didn't do anything epic. But so sometimes you'll hear us with these military references, but I just wanted folks to know like where that came from. Continue.
You messed me up with that. You did do stuff epic because you took care of people. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Darn it, Faceless Man kicking ass, Arya.
Oh wait,
About her.
Arya.
Oh. I keep losing it.
You lost it again?
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a question that might bring it back. From Jake Cruz. He says, do you think the Faceless Men actually want Arya to join them, or do they have another game? I don't think they...
That's what I was going to say. Did you catch the fact that in this episode, and up until this episode, I thought Arya was already in, like she got jumped in, and whatever the Faceless Man on, she freaking went blind. You guys have put her through the ringer. Basic training, graduation week. Like, they keep referencing how she can turn back, and I think that might be the show's method for getting her an out. And as far as they've hyped the Faceless Men to be these killer assassins, how could she leave them killed or followed? Or so I think that it's going to end up with her doing this third thing. A girl does not get a third chance, and she's going to get either the boot or be allowed to leave without being hunted. They can't not have the Faceless Men not be diminished if they don't follow her and kill her. These little hints that she's not quite in yet. Because they said it twice. I thought I wrote it down, but they said two different references about the fact that she, and I think that was, the first thing was the Lady Stark reference, the whole sentence there. Go home before it's too late, Lady Stark. She's trying to tell her, like, I see you. I see your heart, but you're not here. And you don't have to be here. You're not committed to us yet.
It comes off as hate, but I think it's just genuine and like, leave. You don't belong here. It's like when some kid tries to come from one other side of town and pretend he's down with this other. No, this is not your place. Like, you know, it comes off as I'm a hater, I'm a bitch, and she works my nerves. But she might literally be trying to be like, look, how many times do I have to beat your ass with this stick before you go home? You're not one of us. You're not no one. And it shows when she's walking with Jaqen and he's giving her like the history and she says, who was he? You know, all the first faceless man. Who was he? And he's like, a man has no name. Hello? Like, what? And I was just like, God, this child ain't even close.
You're so right about that. There's reminders every scene possible that she's just against what they stand for. Like, he was telling her that, and I wrote this down, that do the faceless men have disdain for noble people? Pharaoh immediately. And I already knew from the books that the faceless men's history is that they were slaves in Valyria, rose up against the slave masters. So it's kind of like instantly they should hate the noble, the highborn. Like, it's kind of not really hate, but in the way that Missandei says that to Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, people have been hunting you down for 2 years, whole life, as a whore or whatever they want me to be. Warrior with a eunuch warrior, whatever Grey Worm's story is. That Jaqen's story was to remind us that Arya doesn't fit there, and maybe the waste does have a bit of towards her, although she's also trying to push her back. Just go live your life. Like, be happy you had a decent life.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I think it's not animosity. It's more just like, look, chick, go home to your lordly house, to your family that loves you. Because we know her story. The show doesn't, but book readers, I don't know, did they say her background on the show? Oh, they did when they were playing the Game of Faces, right?
Yeah, but we don't really know that was a true background. It was kind of like, is she for real? Like, we still don't know who the waif is, and I think it almost doesn't matter. I just think
they never even
be a dude. He could be a dude dressed like a chick, trying to be a chick.
Dressed up as a dude, trying to be.
My Tropic Thunder reference. I'm just a dude.
Yeah, they don't. They never.
That's what I take from that scene. I think she's leaving the House of Black and White pretty quickly, and that's gonna wrap up. This Murphy scene was like the North remembers. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug, but they actually said that in this episode. Sansa said it. The North remembers, and I was like, I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down right now. But I have a question in regards to this segment before we move on. Iron Throne is making me laugh. That's another question I'll say later. So David Adams says, was Jaqen saying servants don't ask questions? Is that setting up a Stark death contract in the future? Servants don't ask questions. I thought he was saying, why are you trying to figure out why this person needs to die? Just go kill him. I didn't pick up on any foreshadowing. I just thought that was more hinting to the fact that, yo, Arya, hello. We don't care who they are. We don't care their name. We don't care what they do for a living, what they've done to deserve this. We just go kill them. Little girl, you don't get it. Go home. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I picked up with that Jaqen. I love that moment because I wrote that down immediately. I was like, Arya just said, person. I'm sorry, that was the first scene. The first phase was, what did she do? Who is she? And he was like, the price was paid. You know, you see Arya, from when you go into a training of an indoctrination situation, I will use basic for that, you freaking don't ask the questions. You're just, they tell you to do it and you do it. It's the first rule of soldiering / operativeness. You know, that's what I love about the Faceless Men. I feel like they're secret assassins. You cannot take this stuff into your heart and be like, oh my God, she has a kid, or stays with old people. You know, just, there's no heart about it. And I loved that Arya asked him questions, because all the people, again, that and like evil and kind of like Ramsay-ish, she has an odd moral compass, but she has one. To us, the first conversation with Jaqen where she said who, she didn't just go like, who you want me to shoot? Like, you know, she's not just like mentally zoned out. She has a heart, she has emotion, she understands connection between right and wrong through maturity. But I love that she asked him the questions. I think Iron Throne might be right. I think that might be kind of a foreshadowing of the third try that Jaqen said she didn't have.
Yeah.
She's asking the questions now, so we're seeing that she's not ready. And then he's telling her, you don't ask me no damn questions. So she doesn't do the job and she runs, or she does the job to the wrong person and she runs.
Notice this. She's never killed a person for no reason. Not yet. Not even anybody. Like everybody she's killed, there was a reason behind it. There was a purpose. Like, I'm trying to escape. You're in my way. You did this to my family, so you have to die. I'm just trying to get, to tomorrow, and you want to kill me. She's never just killed anybody. The one chance she had, she messed it up because she killed Meryn Trent instead on her own personal reasons. And her seeing that play, her face, and you called it, like Macy Williams killed it. She was just like broken. I loved how she was laughing at first. It was all fun and games when it was all about King Robert.
Like, oh, the King Robert was so stupid. Look at his guts out, his entrails.
Yeah, she was like, ha 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 ha, yeah, I hate him. This is the best play in the world. And then Ned Stark comes out and she's like, and
yeah,
I'm
at first
like,
she was like, oh my god, Medea's so funny. And she was like, oh shit, this is Schindler's List. Like, this is sad as shit.
a girl wouldn't care. A girl would not be concerned. A girl would just be looking at the target and trying to figure out what she needs to do to get to the target. What Arya Stark did was get emotionally upset about the play and then go do the girl's job. And I was like, she's done. She ain't gonna make it. I don't know how you escape from the Faceless Men. I don't know how that's even freaking possible, because they are like the best assassins in the world. At that same time, somebody does have to pay them to come get you. But I don't know if they have deserters or like how that works. Is it like a Night's Watch thing or? But they say all the time she's not one of them, so she's not official. She hasn't learned the skills and the techniques, so maybe they'll just let her go. Like the Wave said, go home before it's too late. Maybe it's not too late and she can still leave. And she'll be like, I can't. I gotta go home. Oh, and also, this just came to my mind because we were talking about the play. Is this the first time she sees that Sansa was married to Tyrion?
I believe it is her only knowledge. Well, yes, because when she left, the beheading at Baylor Steps, the scream, but I think she felt a little bit of disdain, like, what the fuck is my sister doing up there? Like, she with them? Nothing else. Remember, they heard stories of whether Robb was winning, whether Robb was losing. Nothing was really sure while they were on the run. But that play was so twisted. I fear that she might end up trying to kill Tyrion. Like, that dude was not the culprit, but the poor guy got a bad rap as dwarf. I don't think she knew that Sansa was married off. I don't think she knew what happened after Baylor Steps. And I'm not sure she should take the play as, truth, but they're in Braavos. That's all they got. That's their news. That's their CNN.
As far as Arya, I think that's all I had to say for this. I was just really just wondering, like, I mean, the whole time I was watching, I was like, you're not ready, you're not even close, like, you're wasting your time. And Needle is still physically here. And I feel as long as Needle is here, like, physically, you are not no one. You're still Arya Stark. And if you can go see a play about your dad getting his head cut off and you still get upset, you're Arya Stark. And maybe she'll realize it and she'll just go home.
Sansa's still sewing and Arya's still shanking people.
Yeah.
Needle. Well said.
I'm going to pass it to you for like 2.5 minutes because I have to go potty.
Okay. All right.
You can move on to the next area if you want, and then I think there's a couple of questions in there too if you scroll up a little bit. I just got to go. Old lady's got.
I can't see the questions.
Oh, you can't see them?
No.
Okay, let me see. I'll tell you one. Yeah, they were talking about, will she be free to live? I think we kind of just talked about that. Will she be free to leave? Wonder if Arya thinks Tyrion really treated Sansa like that. How did Jaqen get caught? And why was Jaqen in King's Landing? Oh, that's a deep one.
That's such a hard one.
Yeah, we've had long, epic discussions about that.
Yeah.
I still don't think we agree on it. Some are dying. Timo, why?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready.
We can't talk about that. I think when Jockin says she has a point, he was alluding to Arya's sword. Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. Go to the bathroom. Yeah, I think that was a good point. Good question. God, the way he walked out, it was just, she has a point, but come on, let me show you another mission. I totally agree. I think whoever asked that question in the chat, yes, well read into, because I seriously believe that Jockin sees that Arya is not going to be no one. They keep telling her no one, and I think they're just going to utilize her maybe for one of the jobs they've been paid for already. And I wonder where Needle was. I can't wait to see her just kind of grab her bags in a Charlie Brown kind of way and just pick Needle up and just finish off her list and just kind of go forth. So that is a really good point. Good point. Good point. See if I can see any of the chat questions here. Okay, I don't see, and I cannot see the chat, so I apologize for that, people. Sphinx is there. I would like to invite everyone as we're moving on to kind of put your questions about the Children of the Forest and the Bran scene. The first dream that he had, the first warging experience, where all the children create the White Walkers. That was a super epic move. I was not ready for that. Episode going, I was confused, I was bewildered, I was excited, I yelled at the screen. What looked like innocent little children just running around that little area with the stone hedge. Like, I just thought, oh, the children, we're going to see some of their history. And all of a sudden, they're like shoving obsidian through this man's heart. And, you know, he's just this regular old, and which made me wonder if his red hair meant something. And pain, and all of a sudden his eyes go blue. So the questions and the commentary about who knew the children created the White Walkers, I feel like I missed every possible clue. I've been so confused about whether they were on the same side, who is the biggest enemy of mankind at the first men, you know, whoever we want to call humans in this story. Moment for me, and I just thought everything I thought about the children, they kind of created something. So it was very Frankenstein, and those eyes turned, and I was just like, boom. So I want to know what you guys think in the chat about changing men into White Walkers as we enter into that phase of Bran's. Sphinx, did you hear that? Muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm all worked up. I came back in and I was like, Children of the Forest, wait. I got excited. Are we there yet? Let's cover the other stuff, because literally, let's just breeze through, you know, this other stuff, because honestly, I didn't care that much. And by I mean the Kingsmoot.
Okay, agreed. I went straight to the creating of the White Walkers because I was literally subject matter, because it kind of bounced around to invite questions in the chat. So I asked people about the children and what they were feeling when they saw that moment. Aha, they actually created them. WTF just happened moment. So we might not be able to move on if we had commentary, but I So Chris.
I'm sorry. I did that thing again. I'm sorry. I did that thing again where I lose the freaking whatever. I'm sorry. I found it. But yeah, okay. So you asked the chat, and that's where they wanted to talk about?
I could not see the chat. I was talking to the chat blindly, so they could have been like.
Well, I will scroll up and I'll tell you what they said.
And we all made it. So your party break.
Alicia Kingston showed up. You are welcome to join the Silent Sisters, my sister. If you want in, send me a message. Let's see. Oh, is Varys? Okay, I gotta save this. I love the Varys secret Targaryen stuff.
I'm gonna step off for a second. I'll be right back. Go with it.
I'm sorry. So I'm scrolling up and getting your questions because I just got back from the potty. Let's see. Alicia Kingston's going to be on the Chicken and the Sphinx, or the Sphinx of the Chicken. At what point did Children of the Forest and White Walkers stop working together? I'm happy you asked that question, Spots, because I have a big problem with this. I rarely have a problem with the show, right? But I know for a fact because I recently started rereading the World Book for fun because I don't like to read other books. I only want to read this one over and over. And it says the first men came, they wrecked shop, they made a pact with the children of the forest, and they had peace. And then the long night came. And it's believed that the others came with the long night, or they brought the long night. Either way, the two are connected. So if the children of the forest created the others, why would they do that during a time of peace with man? Now, the dawn happened. Yeah, it is a legend told by man to man. That is true, and it could be wrong. And this is just going by what the Maesters have said, so it could be complete BS. But it's hard to, like, when you're trying to create a theory, like, what do you believe then? Like, I can just make it up myself and it's whatever I want it to be, or I follow anything that the Maesters say. It's so hard and so complicated. And that makes it like, hey, T-baby, hey, girl. I'm glad you're here because I need help because I'm trying to figure out these dang freaking Candace. So there's a question. It was in relation to the children fighting the others. And I went into my spiel. I told you my spiel the other day. Actually, before this episode, I told you my spiel. You remember? About the children of the forest?
I do. Uh-huh.
And so I just didn't understand how they created, why they would create them when at that time that the others came, the children and the first men were at a time of peace, allegedly. Somebody pointed out in the chat, like, that's what they say, that they were in peace. Okay, true. Maybe they weren't, and they were still going at it.
Right.
But I was just going off what we know, like what's been said in the books. They were at peace. Then the Andals came and completely wrecked shop, and were like, I don't give a damn. Like the Andals were like hardcore, like going all the way in. And that's when the children they retreated to the forest with the first men, but after the Andals came, they had to go north of the wall and just go as far away as they could because the Andals were just going so hard. And so that's when I'm still trying to piece it together. I promise you, like every day I think about this stuff and I'm like, Andals, children, first men, others. it's like a puzzle, and I'm trying to make it fit. I'm trying to put it together. But then I'm also dealing with the book and a show, and that's making it very hard.
I totally agree. I love the books, but I have to say, I can't retain a lot about my timeline with the children and those Isle of Faces, and I'm not 100% enough to speak on that part. I just do not feel confident with the fact of the Maester's account of events, that I don't feel confident in that. So some of it, bunch of BS, like time, and did it make sense? But I think part of the point of the story is that in the war thinks is justifiable isn't always justifiable. It's just what that group decided to do to win. So in the show, when you go to that, which is all we can really go off of, because we're still waiting on the Winds of Winter and we're still waiting on a lot of solidified answers. So the children thought they created the White Walkers because they needed help, and we see on the show that there looks to be like 6 of them. And it was so sad. I mean, like that. If you're fighting for whether your people live or die, is there a bad decision? I feel like I really love this story for its gray areas. Good or bad people. There's some really horrible people, human individuals, but as a people, people aren't just bad. They're following kind of like their social norms and survival instincts. And I about the children of the forest, and I can't help but see the parallels of and native to any area where they were newcomers. I mean, if the option is for me to stay on a reservation or survive because all of you have made us sick, like they probably did the best they could to not get all the issues and just lose their sense of community and their sense of who they were. I don't know if they're a whole other race, but they're bad, and that scene was just epic to me. I loved it.
Well, this just leads me further down my path of ancient history of Westeros, because honestly, I had not realized through my first read through just how savage the Andals were. Like, they came through full blown Faith of the Seven, tatted up, carved up. That's why there's rocks with the 7-pointed star carved on them in the Vale, because that's where they landed first. And they came through ready to wreck it and make everybody bow down to their faith, because they had just been pushed out of their own land by other fanatics. And that push made them more fanatic about their own fanaticalness. Just made that word up. But that made them more aggressive with what their cause was. And that's why the whole south of Westeros is the Faith of the Seven, because they came and everybody used to be first men. And they came and turned them all. They pulled a High Sparrow of the whole half of the country. Like, in a very violent, aggressive way. Like, it wasn't just, oh, hear me preach and join my team. Like, they killed people. They chopped down trees. They were the ones that did it. They were the worst ones. The first men and the children made the pact on the Isle of Faces. They had where were trees. They carved the faces. They were good. The Andals came and cut down everything. Like, they were done. So they were the bad guys. But the others had already been there before them. And that's why I just have a problem, like, linking the two. And this is probably getting too deep for this episode review, but that's just my point on this. And we should probably move on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we'll cover that. We have to do a lot more. I don't like to do stuff I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
That's a subject timeline that is super confusing, and I think it was intentional for us to be, what side are we on? Who do we think is wrong or right here? So that's a whole other Oprah. But yeah, I would love to do something about that. I know you don't want to do Kingsmoot, but I'm leaving something out of this very wonderful episode.
I didn't say I don't want to. I don't care.
You want to just treat it like it was 2 seconds, and I have to give it its just due. I'll do it for you.
Get it, girl.
So I found Andy, great job. Love you. Love it. It was a good compressed rendition. We didn't have all those extra characters running for freaking president, all those extra Republican candidates like we have going on. It's like, I don't know who those 12 people are, you know? They cut it down. I love Theon getting his balls back, no pun intended, but throughout the series, Theon has come back to being Theon and a little bit more less weakish, and he's growing into that. Yara has been kind of like stop being beaten, stop apologizing, look me in the eye. And I love both. I hated Theon early on, and I kind of feel like he's hit that arc where I'm like, yeah, man, just so on top of that, hey Alicia. Hi. Did you hear us? So to finish the Kingsmoot up, I just freaking love that scene. And I had some parallels I want to discuss, but I want to say hi to Alicia. I don't know if we have a lag.
You guys good?
So should I keep going?
I can hear you fine. Alicia, are you good? She's muted.
Okay.
Yes, hello, ladies.
All right.
For the invite.
Hi, Alicia.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Welcome.
I'm good.
We're good. Let's do this.
Good. Okay, I was just talking about the Kingsmoot, and I was wrapping up my opinion about it. I loved it. I thought it was well done from the chapter. I didn't love Euron as much when I saw him on the ropes, but I really thought that he portrayed that kind of asshole, full of myself, kinslaying, crazy guy mindset all in that little maybe 3 minutes. And I was hoping that he didn't come back resurrected, but he did, and it was epic that he woke up and was like, let's kill my niece and nephew. And I loved the scene where they were already ready to go with plan B. And they took that dude's whole fleet. They hijacked him. They were out. They put the sails up, and they were like, Danny, here we come. So I loved it. And I also had a quick parallel from Danny and the Dothraki, telling them that you're small men, you're not fit to lead. Asha/Yara told the Ironborn the same thing. She said, my dad has led us to the same bullshit. He was all about the old ways and the reaving, and I can bring you guys prosperity. I can bring you more. And at first they were happy, and then here comes greedy Euron talking about dragons, and they're all on board with him. So she took her little 20 good men, and they freaking took 20 good ships, and I cannot wait to see them show up in Marine and be like, yo, Danny, where them dragons at? And that's all I got. I'm good. What you got?
I'm so glad you said, yo, dragon, where the Danny... no, Danny, where the dragon's at? Holler. Yeah. Okay. So I checked my notes for this scene, and it's like one sentence. I don't have anything against the Ironborn, but I'm just not interested. I have to make myself pay attention. And I don't know why. I think it's only because they're just so far disconnected from everything else. And I'm losing my attention in King's Landing because it's so far disconnected from all the really important stuff that's happening, like at the wall and north of the wall. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can make myself care about who sits on the what they call it on the show, the saltstone chair. Sea stone chair in the book or whatever, but they changed the name.
The Salt Throne.
Yeah, the Salt Throne. And I'm like, okay, so do I care about who randomly sits on the Salt Throne, or the fact that all life is about to die because the others are coming? And so that's just where the Ironborn storyline falls in for me. But I still make myself pay attention. And as I was paying attention, I noticed that the Ironborn are pretty wishy-washy. Like Yara shows up and she's like, I want to be queen. And they're like, okay, cool, you can do that. And this one dude's like, no, we've never had a queen. And then everybody's like, yeah, that's right, we hate you. And she gives her speech, and they're like, maybe, but I don't know. And then Theon comes, backs her up, and so everybody's like, Yara, Yara, Yara. They're like literally yelling her name. Then Euron shows up, and he gives his speech, and they're all like, Euron, Euron, Euron. And he's like, yeah, and I killed Balon. And they look around a little bit, and he's like, well, Balon sucked. And they're like, well, yeah, he did suck. And I was like, these Ironborn are the worst. Like, dang, that's all it takes? You just give a good sentence or two, and you got them on your side?
They're a bunch of lick spittles.
They're the worst. Alicia.
I tend to agree. The Ironborn haven't been cool since Herod the Black. Once Aegon came in and kicked his ass, that was it for them. There's no coming back from that. The next cool thing they're going to do is Yara maybe connecting with Dany and bringing her to Westeros. That's about it.
So how do you think she's going to bring her, like, the seeing her making out with that female Volantis slave chick? So apparently on the show she likes chicks, because in the books we know she likes sausage. She gets a very good sausage from Carl the Maid. It's my dude. I think he's super sexy. I would like to see him. But anyway, she's digging chicks. She's making out with chicks. So is she going to try to put the moves on Dany, or like what is she going to do? Is she going to try to present Theon to Dany?
You know,
So that can't happen.
I love the ladies, so I'm always all for stuff like that. But looking at Yara, I'm like, no, that's just, don't put a poser in that space. And Yara's just too cool of a character to have her go that route just for the sake of shock value. That I would see that as a complete waste. I'm really disappointed that they did that, actually. How she's going to connect with Dany, my first thought is to try to get her with Theon, but that's not going to work. So outside of her ships having been burnt now, Yara has ships to offer. That's about all I can see. I mean, at least with those ships, she's got more than Euron, because Dany would look at Euron and be like, okay, be gone, fly. I want nothing from you.
I think Dany's going to totally Quentin Euron, or Yara, whoever gets there first. You know,
You might be right.
I actually think that Alicia makes a great point. We know from book and show that Dany believes herself to be barren, and very likely is. In my mind, my epic theory is, who better of a husband? She doesn't care about an heir. She's so arrogant, and I freaking love Dany. She is not worried about who's going to succeed her. She's like, the dragon doesn't die. Like, I'm going to be here for a minute. I don't want to sleep with nobody. She didn't want to sleep with Hizdahr. She's not attracted to people other than Daria. So she will have her little paramour, because she's going to be like new age about this. Even if Yara showed up, and I don't think Yara's going to try on that note to try to be with her at all. I feel like that was HBO's way to get. Yeah, I think it was HBO's toy for like ratings. Like, oh, girls kissing girls. Let's bring in some new fans. And I think Yara's going to basically move the slave girl off of her. People are pushing her to her because she's the captain of her ship, the queen of her ship. And like, oh, bring her the whores. You know, whores are gonna do what they gotta do. So I just think I hope that the scene is gonna just Yara be like, no, that's not for me, and she's gonna be smart enough to keep on trying to politic. And in my mind, Dany would not mind marrying the Ironborn prince, because she doesn't want anybody that supersedes. That's better than her. He's enough to get the fleet. That's a good deal. He's not gonna want to sleep with her. He can't physically sleep with her. He's not gonna hold it against her that they can't procreate, and she could care less. She's got her 3 dragon babies, and that is, in my mind, how they get back to Westeros. And I freaking love that part when they ran through that little cave, and they were like, go, 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 like, get on the boat, and they hijacked them, and I was like, go to Dany, go forth. Yeah, in my mind, she's taking the Victorian plot where Euron's dumbass sent his brother to be like, go get my bride, and instead, Asha's going to get his bride, and Asha has a better viewpoint of what the future world should look like than any of those Ironborn idiots. And no offense to the Ironborn fans, but they are wishy-washy things. They're freaking dumb as hell. They're kind of primitive, and Asha wants to have that. He'd be okay with that's what I think about that. So I think Dany would totally marry Theon if he gets out of his reek zone.
Good point.
But why? Why does she need to marry Theon? Like, she only married Hizdahr out of complete political necessity. Like,
she needs ships. She has 100,000 Dothraki
ship, she's
and an X
falling.
amount of unsullied. She cannot get to Westeros without a fleet. And who has
Because
a fleet?
Dan and Dave
They
don't
just
know what to do with them.
And they burned him up, so that must be a reason. Like, you're probably right. Like,
They had to create a reason to get that plot point going.
and you're right, because as soon as I saw the
They
ships
did.
on fire, I was like, Euron Greyjoy. Hello.
Yep.
I thought it would be Euron, not Yara and Theon. So I guess they took the whole fleet. So what does this mean for Euron? Like, is he going to spend the next 5 episodes building ships?
I was wondering that myself. Like, how are you going to build a whole new fleet, bro?
If we're
Really?
lucky.
If you teleport the
He's
people
like, cut some trees down
and
today.
teleport the workers and teleport the process into the teleporter, maybe you can make a whole fleet in like 1 episode.
They'll devise some nonsense that sounds exactly like that.
Yeah, it'll happen. He'll have a whole fleet by like episode 8.
I have a feeling that he'll have a fleet by the time that Asha and her crew, whether she gets Dany or not, are coming away from Marine, and it might be more of a war later. I would hope D&D don't play us to be that stupid. You cannot cut trees down, build a fleet before they get to freaking Essos. It just can't happen. And I pray, I'm okay with the time travel on a small scale, but don't have people have 300 ships and show up on Flavors Bay at the same damn time. Don't do it.
I mean, Theon got
No.
to fight literally in 1 episode.
Theon is a godly man.
They might just devise something to where they go to Lannisport, like that one time that they were able to burn down the whole fleet before anybody knew what was going on. They might just go take their ships. I don't know. I'm grasping for straws with that one, but
They gotta do something, Alicia. They can't just like rebuild a fleet like out of like It takes so much time. It's not even
makes more sense.
possible to happen this season. I don't think they would play us like that. Like we're not.
Well, he would pull
are you
mad
sure
things.
it's D&D?
But God, they would take us to that level of stupidity where you can rebuild a fleet in 5 episodes. If they do, I'm
How did Theon pay to get on that ship?
He paid the iron price.
He just told them to take him, and they did.
He was like, "I'm Theon Greyjoy. Let me on the bed. I have no
I was
penis."
about to say something that a lady shouldn't say.
A lady shouldn't talk about these things. We got to move on. These Ironborn.
Yeah.
Look, Ironborn was literally
All right,
supposed to be
next.
like 30 seconds, and it like took way too long. That's why I hate them. Oh, but that crown though. That crown.
I spoke my piece on that crown last night. It deserves no more of my time. Kraken, if you're watching, I love you, sweetie. I love you, but I can't with Ironborn right now. Sorry.
That crown was the worst. I was like, okay, it literally looks like it's driftwood, so thumbs up for that. But it's the worst crown in the world. It was atrocious. My 4-year-old could have made a better crown out of papier-mâché.
I was about to say that.
I said that for you, Candace. I know you like papier-mâché. And also, one other thing that I did have to say about the Ironborn, the drowning part, I like that they didn't have CPR involved. Like they, we kill you, and then you come back on your own. That makes more sense. What is dead may never die. I'm going to drown you and then wait and see if you come back. If you come back, then you're awesome. I'm not going to bring you back myself. I did appreciate that a little bit.
Then what's the point of the drowned priests that are supposed to perform that ceremony?
Because they're the ones that hold you down to kill you. They're killers, basically. Priests.
Making excuses.
Murderers.
Yeah, I can't. I needed a CPR. I needed that. I did not. I was waiting. I was like, come on, give him the little, 3 second.
He just did.
He was like, so is he going to come back or no? Is he dead or no?
Yeah, I knew he was totally coming back. I mean, I guess as a nurse, I was like, yeah, it's nice to see. Like, it means more. Anybody can do CPR, you know? Like, you can drown right now, Alicia, and I can pull you out of the tub and bring you back. And then I can be like, it was God that did it. But if I drown you and then lay you on the floor and then stand there like this, you know, it's more likely that there was some supernatural being involved. So
That's
I
total
like that.
bullshit.
I'll drown you one day. We'll see. We'll work it out. Get a real life experience. Next is Daenerys and Jorah with the epic gross grayscale reveal.
Are you reading my notes right now? What?
Are you reading my mind right now? Are we sisters or not?
I was ready for that moment. I feel like the grayscale reveal was necessary. And again, I'm not sure if it was a continuity issue, but the fact that he touched her in the pit and nothing came of it. I don't know if we're supposed to believe Dany's grayscale resistant as far as fire resistant. I would just believe she was super duper goddess. But I love that he revealed it and he didn't continue to be that like slimy little guy that was like, oh, I don't care if I'm spreading this around. And I love that Dario jumped like stepped forward, Jorah stepped back, and Dany was like, what? What's wrong? And to me, that was a little bit of his arc. He knows, for political reasons, which Tyrion already told him, you can't be by her side. You're a traitor there. But I love that he was willing to sacrifice it, and he told her how much he actually loved her finally, and it was a sweet moment. I know the grayscale is gross looking. I totally agree because I have a problem with patterns, but it makes my arm itch. But I loved it for Jorah, and if he can find the key to find Shireen's doctor, if somebody could look up Dr. whatever those MD, WebMD, find Shireen's MD, Maester, and get that person to Jorah, that would be like the epic love story, and he could be like her second husband.
I don't think
I'm
they
just counting all these guys.
WebMD in Westeros. I don't even think they have Wi-Fi.
All they have is
Where
the Maesters, and
where would MD?
The Maesters suck. They are liars and cheaters.
there's only a
They're
few
all
of them
say
that I
that.
like.
But somebody saved Shireen, and I can't help but wonder. I feel like they mentioned that people came from the east. He brought healers from everywhere. So what if Jorah could find a healer, and he's not going to be a stone man?
Well, that's the thing. Grayscale is like chickenpox. It's more deadly in adults than kids. And Shireen got it as a baby, and her dad caught it like right away. So her odds, you know, she's our example of a grayscale being cured. But her circumstances were totally different than Jorah's. Like, he's the old ass dude. He's got it. He's out in nowhere, probably barely eating, health like whatever. I'm sorry, I'm going on nursey on you. But for real, it makes a difference. Like, if an adult gets chickenpox, it literally can kill you. Kids get chickenpox all the time. Kids should get chickenpox. Some parents take their kids around other kids with chickenpox just so they can get it and get it out of the way. Because if you get it later, it can be very deadly. And I feel that's how grayscale is. I mean, not feel, like I've read, that's how it is. And Jorah is like way into the terminal illness realm of grayscale. And I can't even begin to guess where he would go to look for a cure, except maybe to Braavos to go die at the Faceless Men. What if he met Arya?
I don't know that would be a good thing. Explain.
I don't know. It just popped into my mental. It just popped up. What if he was like, you know, because he said he'll end it himself before he lets it. Didn't he say that? Am I thinking of something else? He said that, right?
He did. He said, I'll end it. Before it happens, I'll end it. But if he met Arya, who would he tell her to kill? Dario, so he wouldn't bone his boots?
Kill himself.
Or maybe he would just send her with a message for Daenerys. Like one last goodbye. I tried. It didn't work out.
Like, P.S. I love you. I love it. I love it.
Wait, is that a murder-suicide via Faceless Men?
Yeah, it is. That's an expensive murder-suicide, though.
Yeah, but It's Jorah. Look at his story
Does
so
Jorah
far.
have any? Does he have any coin? Is he like working with money? Like I don't even know his deal. Where's he going after this? I left that scene going, but where's he gonna go? He doesn't know he made G. Like where's he gonna go?
And he has been wearing that same shirt since literally like season 1.
Oh God, that dude's uniform is worse than freaking what's his name on Walking Dead with the damn.
I was just about to say that.
Rick.
Why does he have the slit like right where the grayscale is? Like that's where I was like,
Oh, you saw that? You saw that in my little slit, my cutout?
yeah, oh my bad. I forgot that my shirt is torn where I was attacked by the stone men.
I can't. I
can't.
think we gotta move on.
There's some things we should start a whole series where it's just like I can't, because you just can't make sense of it. It's just like I can't. Jorah's
Hashtag I can't.
I can't. Hashtag I can't.
That could possibly turn into like a 3 or 4 hour episode. Like the whole series, each episode is 4 hours because there's so much I can't going on right now.
Especially with the Dorn stuff, like we should have done that. Like that would have been like a 24-hour live stream of I can't, just about Dorn. T-Baby says she likes that idea. Okay, what we got next, Candace? Moderate me.
So moving on to Meereen, we got into the point where I love how Tyrion starts every season pouring himself a cup. He's always like he's moderately in his cups on a daily basis. And yeah, as we are toasting on this Monday, excuse me. There we go. So Varys announces he's trying to convince.
I don't have a cup. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yes, bring your cups. He's trying to convince Missandei and
quick.
He's trying to convince Missandei and Grey Worm that it's been a fortnight, which I believe in our world is like a month, right? It's been a hot minute since there's been no deaths from the Sons of the Harpy. And Grey Worm says yes. There was two killings of I forgot who, the second sons, whoever's remaining of them, but that was the night of the pact. So that immediately made me think about the book and when the killings ended when she promised herself to Hizdahr, and we were all worried like, who really stopped the murders? Was it Hizdahr? Was it the Green Grace? Who the F is the Harpy? So the book Harpy is different than the show Harpy, which led me on this whole other tangent. Like, wait a effing minute. Is this Kinvara chick going to be the Green Grace replacement as the politician / public relations expert / did she really start the harpiness and stop the harpiness? So that whole conversation, I want to lead into what you guys think about, because I was just having 8 million thoughts.
Kinvara as the Green Grace. Wow. I have to process. Alicia.
My head just exploded. That thought, Candace, that thought did not cross my mind at all. I have been giving what's her name, Sandy, the side eye this whole season because of that. It was as much her as Dario in my mind, but Kinvara, that's well done, young lady. Well done.
Candace, you might be onto something, for real. Like, she may completely play that role. Because you know what? Go ahead.
What made me think about it was I felt like on my second read, I felt like I understood the Green Grace. It's a whole other religion. It's a whole other situation. And we have a lot of R'hllor pop up in the series where, you know, Tyrion saw, I think there was an Asian red priestess. She kind of looked at him funny when he was with Varys when they first escaped. And she was preaching to the crowd. And he's like, oh, we're going to see the Savior. He's being sarcastic. You know, like the asshole that he was at the moment where he didn't believe there was a Savior. He didn't believe there was dragons. And I feel like the show would best tie that fanatic role of the Green Grace's support of Dany to what we saw already as viewers, which was the Red God. We can't really add any more gods in here. We're just too confused as show viewers. So why not bring in a secondary priestess, the High Priestess? So she's basically the High Septon of the House of R'hllor, whatever, you know, the Red God followers, and she will trump Mel. So for Tyrion to find her is a whole other Oprah. I don't even know how that happened, but I just felt like, oh my God, I felt like the Green Grace, and I felt like Moqorro, because part of me thought Will Makoro, although he was with Victorian, I felt like he was playing him to get to Dany. And I feel like the red priestesses and priests are supporting her. They might be a little crazy with their like fire burning and burn up all the non-believers, but they're on to something with thinking that she's the one that was promised. And I also noted in that conversation that Kinvara said she was promised, but she didn't say the prince that was promised. So they all seem to be like tweaking it to their preference. But Tyrion basically said we need somebody to spread the word. Dany has the piece, but people don't know she did it. She's a PR agent. The Green Grace was a PR agent, and it all just kind of, I'm getting off a little bit, but that's what made it all like flashlight. That was what the Green Grace's purpose was, to sell this, to tell the people, calm down, you respect me, and I respect her, so let's all just keep the peace. And that's my nutshell about that. I don't have much to add.
Alicia, go. I can't. Hashtag I can't. I need about 6 hours of studying at least to address.
I got distracted. Candace, what was the last thing you said?
Something awesome.
Well, duh. That's why I'm asking her to repeat it.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I said last.
I was distracted by my roomie showing me a gift that someone made that says that they believe that Hagrid could be a secret Targaryen.
Who?
Hagrid. Harry Potter.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Lord.
I know. The absurdity is what distracted me.
Where's that dude?
Yeah, I don't know what I said. I apologize. I was on a roll, and I don't know what I said last.
Story of my life.
Okay.
I know what I said.
Done.
I think the Green Grace, I think that Kinvara is going to embody the Red God following Dany with her fire, with her Azora Highness, and she's going to replace the book Green Grace politician role that Tyrion's all about politicking. Tell the people that Dany did all this good stuff. Tell the people that she's keeping them safe. And the Green Grace is like, I'll get my most eloquent priestesses. I'll summon them all. And they're basically going to go out into the yard and speak to the small folk and speak to the highborns and spread the word that she is the boss.
You know what?
She's going to spit hot fire on them.
This actually leads me to a note that I wrote. See if I can find it.
While you're looking, can I speak on one thing real quick?
It's
not my thought because I'm still trying to wrap my head around Candace blowing me up a couple seconds ago. But in the chat, Grimner Reaper has an interesting thought about Kinvara. It says, Kinvara knows who the Lord of Light is. It was the Three-Eyed Raven, and now it's Bran. Lord of Light's champion is Azor Ahai. Bran's champion is Jon. Dany is Jon's flaming sword. Well thought out there, Reaper. I really like where you're going with that.
So I'm really
I'm on board with that.
because Candace, you know I've been researching, like, for real. Like, I've been telling you about all my children research and other research I've been doing. And literally, I believe Bran is like one of those figures that we think all these other people, either he's the last hero or Azor Ahai or the Lord of Light's champion. Like, he's one of these people because he's the one to reunite. I thought Jon was the reuniter because he went and got the wildlings and brought everybody together. Well, just the wildlings and the Night's Watch. And
Jon was the piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And all this time I thought he was like the man, like the main dude. But actually, Bran is the one with the power to really, really change stuff. And when the Dark Night first came, or the Long Night first came, it took Greenseer's children, Bran the Builder, allegedly, because apparently Bran the Builder lived for like 300 years and did like lots of stuff. It took one of these Brans and the children and everything that they could muster together, even the lesser gods from the Royne. Candace, remember we were talking about that? The Crab King and the Turtle King. You know, that's what it says in the World Book. Like, Bran, this Bran, gathered everybody together and got them all to sing the same song to fight off the darkness. And I was like, that's Bran. It's not Jon, it's Bran, because Bran's on this whole other level. Jon's just over here slinging swords and poking people with the pointy end. But Bran is like getting in people's heads and doing some other stuff. So I started making notes. I still can't even make it make sense because there's so much evidence that points to Bran being our savior. Like Bran being our prince that was promised, not our Azor Ahai. I mean, there's one or the other. Like, one is a fighter and one is a politician, right? So one unites, recruits, and goes to fight the great other, like the real big deal. And the other one is the warrior that kind of comes in with the flaming sword or the Valyrian steel sword and just fights like on the ground. And I think that Bran is the politician and Jon Snow is the warrior.
It goes to what Bloodraven said. The ink is dry. I thought Bran could go back and change it, but it's already happened. This happened thousands of years ago with the first Long Night. The characters are just reset, and now it's happening again.
Too deep. Candace said that perhaps all the Brans in the past were the same Bran.
Someone else had that theory when I first got into the fandom. I read that. I can't remember who it was, but I remember that's one of the things that stuck in my memory, that all the Brans are the same one.
Yeah, I thought about that today when I was watching. I rewatched the episode, and they had the flashback, and I was like, why haven't we seen Bran in the flashbacks? And I said, maybe because Bran looks just like Bran, because it's Bran all over again. But I was like, nah, if Ned Stark had like rebirthed his own brother, he would have mentioned at least, a few times, you are the spitting image of my brother. So I was like, okay, it's obviously not Bran. But I was like, dang, Bran has probably been all the Brans.
Maybe not all of them, but key
Brans.
Yeah. Key Brans throughout history. Not all of them, because Ned's older brother, come on. He was a slightly better behaved Robert. That's not the Bran that we knew.
My point exactly. I agree, Alicia. I thought maybe that he was some of the Brans that made significant moves. The hero, the builder, that was trying to do something massive at that point in time that was going to help the cause against whatever they were fighting, which I think is the White Walkers.
Old Nan, damn it, I need a full history on that woman. Old Nan, when she's talking to the kids when they're all still at Winterfell, she says all the Brans have melded together in her head. She can't tell them apart anymore.
Oh my God, you're right. And somebody says that. They're like, she confuses me with the other Bran says that. She confuses me with the other Brans. She tells me these stories, and I'm like, no, those aren't the stories I like. The other Brans like those. I like these stories.
No, you just like different stories throughout different eras.
Yeah. She's like, no, when you were 30, you liked that one story, but now that you're, 60, you like this story. I totally agree, and I also the fact that we all talk about how if George says something multiple times, there's something to it. There's no extra Sansas or Johns. There's a few extra there's a couple of Brendans, but in the Stark family, there are no many kids by the same name. Not many kids, excuse me. So there's something to that we might find out, and we might not find it out in the show, but I totally feel like there was moments in my life where I thought something happened to Hodor when Ned and crew were younger, that one of them warped him. And this is a jump to the show, but when I saw that Bran warped him when he wasn't even alive, that just blew my mind. So I can't figure out in words at the moment why that makes sense with the multiple Brans being the same Bran. But this guy, if reincarnation is a thing in the show, there's something blended about his consciousness. It could just be the Werewood network, but him warning Hodor in present time, the Hodor being questionably like 10 or 12, and becoming Hodor and not saying anything, it's like, what just happened? That's the biggest part of this episode for me, is what the F just happened. I thought there was some historical reincarnation things going on with the Brandons, but this Brandon is standing there in a warg dream and freaking changed the guy's life, and now he's in the guy's middle age, killing him, and he's working them at the same time. I'm getting off topic, but that blew my mind. And
I was about to say, can we talk about Hodor altogether?
You know what? Can we just go? Wait. Let me see what else I had to say about Kinvara. This was funny. I was like, she has more titles than Daenerys. She had like
yes, she did.
Before her, and this is Kinvara, the blah blah blah, and the blah blah, and I was like, yada yada. Okay, Danny, number 2. I also wrote down, I need all these red priests and priestesses to get on the same page. Because
right, like who is ruling them right now? Why did Melisandre not see the same thing that Kinvara saw? Like who exactly are they really taking their orders from, or are they just doing their own thing?
We so far literally have 3 Azor Ahais. First it was Stannis, then it was Daenerys, and now Jon Snow as well. So we have literally like 3 Azor Ahais, wrecking shop, ready to like do business, and I'm like, is anybody talking? Are they sending ravens? Like, is Melisandre? Huh?
The dragon has 3 heads.
I was just talking about that with someone else. In one of the groups I'm in on Facebook, we do a thread where we all watch Game of Thrones and comment together. And one of the things I thought about after we did the panel last night is Arya keeps standing out to me. Now, Arya, of course, she's not one of the supposed Targaryens or anything, but she is tied up in this thing with the Faceless Men. I don't think the Faceless Men want no one. I don't care what they keep saying. They keep reminding her of her past. They keep reminding her of everything it is to be Arya Stark. They want her for something. So at some point in time, she's going to come into play, and she can't be no one when that happens, or she won't have the powers that she has in the books. This is a song of ice and fire. Arya is ice. Daenerys, fire. Jon brings them both together. And the dragon must have 3 heads. Still random tinfoil, because the way the stuff is now, you can't even tie everything together unless you're George R. R. Martin. But that's my recent thought pattern.
I like that.
I can dig it. I can totes dig it. Because I don't see anything going against it. Like, everything's up in the air right now. It's like, it's such an exciting time. Like, what is it? Left, right, book, show? I don't know. I'm just trying to survive. And I'm laughing at the chat. I'm sorry, Jesus be offense. Okay. So I had to finish my Kinvara notes, but I think that was it. Stark, Tully's, Aaron's coming together like they did before. I wrote that down. Notice Melisandre didn't say like anything this whole episode. Not a single word. She was just sitting in the background, kind of like, is class over yet? I'm so over this.
I think Kinvara's going to happen to Mel like R. Kelly happened to Aaron Hall.
That was tragic, what R. Kelly did to Aaron Hall.
Well, there is that statue of Mel in blue.
Statue of what?
Melisandre.
Blue Mel.
Blue Melisandre that George R. R. Martin had commissioned.
She will totally get turned into an other. She's done. Like, literally, she's done. Like,
right, not into a white, but into a White Walker. They're going to have her keep who she is and be under their control.
How you bring a man back from the dead and you're still depressed? I'd be like, boom, who can save what?
The one that did it, though?
Huh?
Is she sure that she's the one that did it, though? Are we sure?
Obviously not, because she's super bummed about it, and I would be completely excited. I don't get it. She sits around all cold. Now she's cold. She used to always be hot. Now she's wearing furs and coats and robes and leathers. I'm like, who are you right now? I don't even know you anymore.
I think there's a bit more to be revealed there. I'm not sure what, but it seems like there's still something up with her. Like, her faith is not back yet, and it should be.
It really should be, when somebody comes back from the dead, like...
I think the problem is that she lost her faith. I don't think she is the old Mel. She can still glamour herself, but I think the fact that we see her all bundled up and kind of She's even acting a little older and less youthful and vibrant than she was before. She's down when she was so like sure of life, of the Lord's will, and I think she embodies what happens when faith is lost. She brought Jon back, but I don't know if she brought Jon back. I'm starting to wonder if someone else in the room brought Jon back, or Bloodraven. I mean, we don't know how strong the old gods are, and that's a Stark child, no matter how you slice it. So
that's what I was thinking
think
too.
Done. She's not believing in herself. I agree, Alicia. She's not believing in her Lord. She's just kind of like, oh shit, life sucks. What the hell have I been following all this time? And you got somebody like Kinvara showing up, reminds me of how resolute Mel used to be, and she's not anymore.
I mean, you have to understand what she went through. Everything she believed in died right in front of her. I mean, not literally. She drove off before it died, or rode off, but you know, like, she was all in on Stannis. She wasn't playing no games. She was all the way in. She's killed men, women, sacrificed children. She didn't do that for nothing. So it takes time to recover from that. So
what if she wasn't completely wrong about Stannis? Like, not that he's the savior, but he was supposed to play some part in that. But now that he's gone, there's a missing element, so things seem even more scattered now.
I don't think Stannis is gone. I'm going to just throw it out there. I don't. Sorry.
Maybe his part was to bring her to Jon Snow.
Could have been that small. But I would like to think that it was supposed to be more like he was supposed to help Jon do something. I don't know. He had the army. He had the numbers. He could have been up there helping put up a better front than Jon is able to put up now.
Yeah, in the chat, T-Baby says she thinks that the death of Shireen still bothers Melisandre. And I could see, I mean, when you burn it out, and then, like, the purpose of that doesn't come to fruition, I'm sure that has to hit you in the feels at least a little bit. Maybe not if you're like 100 years old or several hundred years old.
I feel like I hope that's her problem. I hate to say this because I hated that she burned Shireen. It bothered me to the core that her and her father and her crazy ass mom thought that was a good idea. I love that kid as a fan, but I can appreciate a character with a turnaround because I believe in forgiveness. I believe we're all human. If Mel, she brought Jon back. That's my dude. I'm already back on her side. She had me at hello. But I hate that she's so down. It's like I can't help but wonder that's what D&D are trying to do. They're giving us a new Mel, and I'm not being funny. I literally think like we have a dead, worn out version of a R'hllor believer, and now we have a new one. And Kinvara is like down for the cause. She's like, we will burn them all and purify them. That's exactly what Mel said about all of what was it? That's one of Stannis' wife's uncles. She burned like Kinvara is a rekindled version of Mel, and she's like, that bitch is tired, and I'm ready to keep this shit going. Like, let's just forget about her. She didn't. And Kinvara, I think Alicia, you said, who are they following? She's the high priestess. So either Mel has strayed, which I feel like she's been on her own with no communications for a while, unless they talk to the fires. Or they're all on some different stuff. For Kinvara to say that, I kind of wrote the words down. She said Daenerys Stormborn was the one who was promised, and I know that she avoided a gender. When Mel said it to say it to Jon, Stannis was the prince that was promised. If he wasn't the one, someone has to be. So they're all on a different interpretation of the prophecy, and they're not on the same page. For one religion that's such a small faction, it's big, but it's its own like really tight beliefs. These priestesses have these hugely different beliefs. I know if Mel lost it, maybe Kinvara will replace her.
But what kind of religion doesn't... I'm sorry, Candace.
Good.
I just don't understand, like, what kind of religion doesn't specify, like, who the person is that you're supposed to follow? Like,
many religions. Don't get me started.
I think things have gotten convoluted for them over the years. I mean, like, look at Thoros of Myr. He was sent how long ago to try to convert Robert before any of this nonsense even started.
I bet he felt Robert was a Zora High.
Or been the key to something. Who knows?
If he thought Robert was a Zora High, then I've lost all my faith in the lore. I feel like that's the only religion that showed us actual action besides the old gods, which we now found out is the man in the tree. No one else has magic or skills, but that shadow baby stuff and the fires and the fact that Mel saw John, she said, I saw him, now man, now wolf, now man again. There's some realness to the lore, and I love that Kinvara mentioned when Varys was trying to try her and like say that Mel didn't know what she was doing. Kinvara was like, men and women make mistakes. Like she said, the human interpretation of God's will can be messed up. And I love that because that's my sympathy for Mel. I think that Mel burned Shireen. I think she did all the burning of the other gods because she misinterpreted what she saw in the flames, and she said it. I keep seeing snow, and you're like, woman, you want to shake her. You see John. Why do you keep thinking it's Stannis? You see John. But I can appreciate that she's a human trying to interpret these godly, higher than thou, like Quake-like visions. Like they're just unclear.
And why can't they ever just say what the hell they mean? Like I know we probably wouldn't have a story if they didn't, but damn, just say what.
How much time do we spend like to go forth? You must go back. You must cross beneath the shadow. Like what?
Just tell me where the hell to go, girl. What is all this nonsense?
What am I lighting on fire? Help me out. Like, do I need a lighter or a match? Like, what do I need? I agree, Alicia.
I can't. Okay, maybe we're gonna have to get this I can't series going because I literally can't.
Hashtag I can't. What do you think about Varys? Like, what do you think about the moment where she mentioned Varys' castration? Like, that was ethically confusing.
Kinvara is the creepiest character I've seen thus far. Like I was telling the panel last night, when she stepped on the scene before she even opened her mouth, she hit me like 20 times worse than Melisandre ever could. And then when she started talking, just that actress, just kudos to her because her demeanor, the look on her face, the look in her eyes. Varys is the coolest character ever, and I don't mean cool as he's great. I mean just his demeanor. He's very level-headed. He's very always on-point strategy. Things happen. Okay, I'm gonna do this to fix it. It's never a big deal. She has that man scared. Anyone that can make Varys worried has me worried. So I expect some heavy things to be coming up where she's involved in the future.
Oh, I totally agree. I stared at Varys' face. I was initially freaked out by her, and I was like, where does she come from? Like, why does she know so much? Like, is she gonna tell us who spoke? And his face, he's never been upset. That dude has been called out, and he's never been visibly bothered. He's like hashtag unbothered. That's Varys' face. He's like, he stays in character. He doesn't break it. He's committed, and he was thrown off. He was angry and he was scared. And that's why I thought, at least for the show, his story about being castrated is true. Or
he did not know which way to go for that.
No, like,
there was so much distress oozing off of him. Like, oh, I felt for him a little bit.
Right? It felt like I was there, and I was like, what did it say? Who was it? And it made me think about that one. I don't know which religion it is where they're like, we don't say his name. But she said, do you want to know who was speaking to you? And remember, somewhere in this story, they don't speak his name. It's not like maybe it's the name of the stranger.
No, I know which one you're talking about.
The Great Other? Is it the Great Other?
I think yes, the Great Others whose name cannot be spoken.
Right. So if the Great Other is who spoke to this, like she said, he was like a haphazard stepped in. Was the Great Other? Was there some sacrifice? Is Varys something special to sacrifice his manhood, his penis, wherever they do in the pyre,
See, I thought that too, because there's power in King's blood, right? But King's blood to me just seems like Valyrian blood. So, what's the significance of Varys' background?
It goes to the theory about him being either a woman or like a
Or a secret
Blackfire
Targaryen,
or
yeah.
right, or Illyria's wife or all these other extra things. Illyria's wife's brother, his wife was supposed to be Lyseni in the books. Lyseni are the blonde Valyrian type archetypes. That could work, but the show's not giving us enough to make that make sense. But there's something to her saying, do you want to know what he said, and do you want me to say his
Right.
name?
Otherwise, she wouldn't have brought it up. Hopefully,
Yeah,
they
it was
release exactly
functioned.
what it was later, because I'm very curious to find out what he
I
heard.
need it.
Because whatever he heard is what scared him so bad about magic. It wasn't even really the ritual. It's what happened during it. What came out of that whatever the voice said, that's what had him so bothered and why he can't stand magic.
Yeah, you're right. He said that voice spoke in the flames, and I heard it, and I'll never forget how it sounded. It wasn't like the guy cut my penis off and threw me out into the alley, into Flea Bottom. I mean, Varys was bothered that this freaking spirit spoke or whatever spoke, and we've got to find out what that is. Was it the Night King? Is it something we already know about? I'm so confused.
Or, with all this timey-wimey stuff going on, was it Bran? And if so, what is the connection there? I don't know. I'm going off on tangents. The whole thing with Hodor just has my mind like thinking Doctor Who, and that's all is circles. That's all I see. Everything has happened before. Everything is going to keep happening. And no, I'll save that for when we actually talk about the children. Never mind. I'll hold that thought.
I heard you guys. I heard you in your Varys stuff, and I was like, yes, yes. So, only time we've ever really seen Varys shook up. You remember when when Peter gave his chaos as a ladder speech to Varys? You remember that?
Yes, I love that speech.
That's the only time I recall Varys ever being like shook up, like, what? Because he said, yeah, Varys had taken Roz under his protection, and Peter found out and let Joffrey kill her.
But even then, he didn't look as distressed as he did with Kinvara.
No, yeah, he didn't, because she was like, yep, I know. How somebody just walk up and says, yep, I know you don't have a penis, and I know what happened when you lost your penis, and I know what happened when the person said something to you while they were taking your penis. You want to know what they said? Like, no.
Yeah, it wasn't even that she knew about it, because everybody knows he's a eunuch. We saw the little high masters, which that was some bullshit. They came in there and played him close. They were like, we're supposed to take a word from a dwarf and a eunuch, and Varys was all hoity-toity, and then he was like, hey, like, how'd you know?
That's nasty.
Were my powdered hands the first clue? Like, my soft little hands?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to see Varys shook up, because I'm Team Varys. As much as I'm Team Baelish, like, Varys is like my next second. And they might be neck and neck, except I think Peter is just so much more cutthroat that he thinks on a different level than Varys. So for that reason, he's probably a few steps ahead of Varys. But I love Varys I think they are like the Song of Ice and Fire, like the two of them. They're like neck and neck, cutthroat, manipulators. And I've always appreciated their interactions, like since episode 1, season 1, because I was a show watcher before books. But this scene, I'll just have to say, I did not enjoy seeing my boy shook up. I was worried about him. I didn't want to find out anything worse than what he's already been through. Somebody already cut off his junk. I was like, oh God, and there's epic words too, like they said something traumatic. I don't even know.
I'm on the chat on my phone, so I can't see it on the computer, but Pamela Evans Shink said Team Varys all the way, and I totally agree. Well, I think Littlefinger is a more eloquent plotter because the story has shown us more of his goals. I am extremely impressed with Varys' plot. That dude has been playing the long game. People are actually suspicious of Littlefinger, but everybody just sees Varys as this guy with no penis and no balls, who's no problem. They're like, that little dainty dude, the little fat plump guy, forget him. This dude has let Tyrion out of jail based on his committed role as a jailer. Like, his game is too strong. And he plays the little simpering You know, he's like the Roy the Trees version of me. You know, he's very like he's very unthreatening. You know, I think that's why he keeps his head bald and he keeps his little hands in his little sleeves like he's a little trustworthy maester. He's just that dude is a freaking beast, and he's like rich as hell in the book. He is making moves all over Westeros. That's why he's the master of whisperers. That's why he knows what the hell is going on in Marine off top. Varys can't be matched. That dude's game is too strong. That's why the Harpies are like shut down for a fortnight. And if I was a team that didn't have a house, it'd be Varys. Who knows what his last name is?
All right, guess what, guys?
Are we moving on?
We got to hit the heavy stuff. We got to go in. It's pushing. It's getting late. We just got to go there. We're just gonna have to go there.
Let's go.
Whatever we missed, if you remember it, you know we can talk about it. But we have to talk about this Children of the Forest and this Bran stuff. And this Hodor stuff.
I don't think that we have to talk about it. I just don't.
Just
We're ready. I'm ready. All right. So okay. I had a quick synopsis. And if anybody wants to start it off, just let me know. But if not, I'll just kind of get into the cave. The sad, like 10 minutes of ending.
No, give your synopsis, girl. You do it for Hodor.
All right. So I love how the start of the scene. I like it starts off comedic to me, and then D&D set me up. They were like, "Be happy," and then cry. Bran's like a teenager. Like, is my mom asleep? Can I sneak out the window? And he's like throwing a rocket at Blood Raven. Like, is he awake? Is he awake? And his old ass is snoring. You know, the what do you call that? The intervention nod. He's knocked out in the tree. He goes to touch that bone, or was it the root, and sees Winterfell, and that was the beginning of understanding Hodor, which Sphinx, you said it right. When they show us somebody's history, they're usually about to be gone. And we got this happy moment. We already saw Hodor speaking to Lyanna, and we got this happy moment where he was like, just minding his own business in the stables, and Mira's going, Bran, war, Hodor, we need Hodor. And Bran's confused. And beginning of the mind blow, we get 2 world wars. So that is the beginning. But I did want to say, before she said Bran war Hodor, she ran out with the cold breath. And Sam mentioned that before. Do the whites bring the cold, or does the cold bring the whites? And she was plotting with Hodor about how they were going to go have bacon and blood sausage, and she sees her breath, and she goes out to see the quick reaction force of children outside trying to throw their fireballs. So that's the beginning of me going, what the fuck? And I'm going to set that up there. You know, they put the line of fire, the White Walkers come through, somebody else pick it up. Don't cry, Sphinx.
I'm trying to hold it together. Alicia, go first, because I'm just...
Yeah, I think I've watched the two times now. The second time was a bit harder. I think I teared up a little more. Didn't actually cry, but almost got there. I think we know why. Well, it made sense to me anyway. Now, why Hodor didn't like storms when they were in that tower, and Bran had to work him to make him be quiet. Way back when he was a kid, and he saw his death. He's standing at that door in the middle of a storm.
Because all the lightning and fireballs and stuff going on around.
And I think that's why Mira couldn't get him to move readily by himself, because he knew it was coming, and he was nervous as hell. He clammed up for a sec, like he knew what needed to be done. When Bran first saw him talking and came back and asked him, and he said, you know, Willis, what happened? Hodor was just like, Hodor. Like, you happened, man. I mean, but you're my boy. I'm not mad. I'm still gonna help you do what needs to be done, but you, Hodor.
Alicia, that's the worst part, is that Hodor is not pissed about it. Like,
his whole life, he knew he was going to die helping his liege lord's son get through that door.
When him and Mira were talking...
And he was still such a merry person.
Yes, we're going to go home, and we're going to have some fried eggs. you like fried eggs? He was like, Hodor. She was like, how about some blood sausage? He was like, Hodor. You know, it's like...
Like, and kudos to Christian, I can't remember his last name, but that gentleman, for only having to say one word for this whole 6 years, every emotion that that character felt, we knew exactly what he was thinking, what he meant. That guy...
Oscar, like, for real.
Kudos.
He only said Hodor for 6 years and made it like 2,500 different emotions.
Yes.
Hodor. Like, yeah, he's on some other stuff. And
hey, okay, you gotta talk, because now it's getting to me.
why am I so emotional about this? And I was mad at myself because I'm like, why are you upset about a TV show like this? But you know what? I freaking connected to it. Hold on. That's Candace. Okay. I knew once we saw his backstory in that first flashback, I was like, okay, Hodor is going to die. But I just thought it was going to be like he gets shot or something and then he's just gone. You know, like random escape plot and then it just doesn't work out and he's fallen. But then they show us him as a kid and that he was not always Hodored. And then how he got Hodored at the same time that his future Hodor is being killed because he's sacrificing himself to save Bran, who Hodored him in the first place. And that Stark music. And Mira, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door. I just gave myself goosebumps by saying that too many times. Because that kid that acted that out, he did so good. He did so good.
There are so many things that make sense now throughout the seasons from just that one little bit. Hodor never had any issue with any of the direwolves, but there are bits and pieces. If you look, when he's with Summer, he's always smiling. Like when one of the biggest parts is when Bran was still in the coma, and I think he was warging Summer, but he didn't quite know exactly what was going on. No, he had waken up from the coma. Sorry, I got that wrong. But
No,
he
right.
meets Hodor in the hallway, and you know Summer's looking up at Hodor, Hodor's looking down, smiling, walking with him, and I'm like, that just makes so much sense now because he knew he was going to have this epic journey with Summer and Bran, and just.
That's when he first woke up from his coma. He was warged into Summer and didn't know, and he was seeing his everything through Summer's eyes. And Summer jumped on his chest, and then he opened his eyes and saw Summer, which a lot of people think that that happened right when Lady died, and that he was actually warged into Lady. Or
I've never heard that theory. Interesting thought.
I think people just say that. They say that Lady paid for his life. A death paid for a life.
That is a good thought. I had never considered that.
Because you notice, like, if you go back and watch it, as soon as Lady died, it was like, arf, which was the same sound that Summer made last night.
Oh, God. Hashtag RIP Summer. I feel bad saying this, but I'm a super duper animal lover. And I felt extremely sad about Hodor. I felt extremely sad about Summer. Like, on an equal level, that dog took one for the team on purpose. And
for no reason.
To see him go down like that with those little freaking raggedy whites pissed me off. I was like, come on, Summer, shake him off, shake him like a pit bull,
I was hoping.
He didn't get out, and then I saw a little bit of CGI blood, and I was like, oh, shit.
Then I heard oh, God, they got Summer, too.
Yeah, and then it went down the hallway while they were catching out. Like, you could hear Summer, and that touched me on such a, somebody go back and help Summer. Mira did turn around, and I think the children told her to go. She tried to stop, like, Summer. But Summer was a G, and I do believe the old gods sent those direwolves for them, and they might have all died unceremoniously and at the wrong times, but they did everything they could to save their person.
It's just too much.
Hashtag free Nigerians.
So emotional.
There's only 2 of them left now.
Red Wedding. Like, I have Red
There's
Wedding.
only Ghost in Nymeria, and I think there's something about that. Ghost in Nymeria.
And Arya is wandering, just like Nymeria is wandering. So maybe, I think it was someone in the chat I read earlier, they said the Direwolves, the Starks are fated to have the same fates as their Direwolves. Well, they kind of already do.
I believe that because Lady's dead and Sansa's wrecking shop. She's about to wreck a lot of shop. So I don't really buy into the tie-in there.
At the moment, too, Shaggy Dog is allegedly dead, which I still stand by the fact that I don't think that was my Shaggy Dog. I think he was too gangster. He was too gangster to get taken out like that. But if Shaggy Dog is dead, Rickon is still currently not dead unless he's flayed in the next couple episodes, which I'm praying is not the case because I can only be so sad a season. I agree, Chris. Sansa's still alive and kicking and about to kick some ass. So the fact that Lady died a long time ago and Sansa's been progressing in her survival likelihood doesn't really match up to what happens to their wolf happens to them line.
And Lady died early on, like before Sansa even had a chance to become anybody. She was still just a baby, just freshly leaving Winterfell, and Lady died. And then she's been through so much since then. It really has nothing to do with Lady. And Lady's the prime example of why I don't think that the Direwolves' fates are matched with the Starks' fates. Just their fates. They're linked together like their personality types. But I don't think their fates are linked together because they're really completely opposite.
I hope not. I need to see no more Stark unhappiness. Of course, I'm sure we're going to get tons more.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question on that scene? Like, what of Bran Stark? I mean, we saw Mira disappear in the snow. Bran was still caught in a double ward situation where his young ward self had a seizure and started saying Hodor, and the current ward he was in the present died. So what do we think is occurring with Bran going forward? I think that is a huge question mark. If they leak an episode, I'm watching this one because I'm so anxious. Like, what is happening to him? Who's he in? Is
he may be in Overload, if that makes sense. Like, him and Bloodraven were under as everything was going on. I think Bloodraven was just trying to get him them last megabytes of information that he could get him. So, once Bloodraven got cut down, he has everything in there, but it's too much at once. So he can't readily separate himself just yet.
So I'm going into the chat to find questions, so I'll be kind of not paying attention for a few minutes, but I just wanted to say that I also felt like Bloodraven was just like, okay, we got to go upload, like delete, control, alt, delete, task manager. He was just like going in and just trying to give Bran whatever he could. And Bran was just taking it. And that's why he couldn't wake up. That's just my thought. Like, he was just getting uploaded, like the upload of all uploads. And
you say control, alt, delete, task manager.
You know how it does when you're backed up?
Yes. You're like, wait, download. Wait, no. Delete. That's what happened because he said, no, am I ready? He said, no. And Bran's white eyes came back. And I was like, I wrote a note. Why did Bran immediately ward?
That was Bloodraven grabbing him back in.
Black? Right. But is there any idea that maybe he was seeing the current with the ward because it went straight to him, straight to us, seeing Jon around the table with the small council? I mean, this is pre-Hodor dying. When he said, am I ready? Bloodraven said, no. I think he just said no. I don't think he even added any more. And Bran's eyes went wide again, like Bloodraven was doing the download. He was like, let me dump this MP3 player in your head. And then all of a sudden, Jon's like, we can't defend the north from the Walkers, and we can't defend the south from the Boltons without Winterfell. And the story carried on. So I just couldn't help but wonder, what if Bloodraven showed him the present now, and he can help manipulate the present?
I don't know. I'm hoping something happens. I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like there's just circles. Like I said, like way back during the first Long Night, even before that, there's a legendary story about a darkness that lasted a whole generation, something to do with the Lion of Night. And So I think it was one of their other religions, but there was a last hero that had to come in with that and save things. And it's random thought, but the look on Leaf's face when she did her little sacrifice thing, she looked sad, but it also looked like she almost expected it. Like they've done this all before, this whole song and dance. They've been trying for how many thousands of years to change it, to change one key thing and get it right, but it still isn't working. So Leaf stops, sends Mira on her way, and she has her moment where she's not even fighting them. She's just standing there letting them tear her apart until that last second of life, and she squeezes the bomb. The look on her face doesn't say, I'm upset, I'm anything but sad and disappointed that this is happening again. We have to go through this all over again. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
She was in full set it off mode, like Cleo status. But also, it reminded me of the Wildling Priestess from last season when she just laid down and just like let them take her up. And her face, like, the way those little whites stab you, the way they stab Jojen, they're just like, ha, 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 ha. I hate it. God, it gives me like goosebumps when I see it. And she was just sitting there, and they're like just like stabbing the hell out of her.
They're like the little angry pygmies from The Mummy Part 2.
Yeah. They are the worst. Like, they're worse than everything else. They're worse than the White Walkers and the others. Like, those little whites that come and they're just like stabby, like the way they stab Jojen. I don't like that. And they did that to Leaf, and she was just sitting there, just waiting, just taking the stabs, and then she was like, boom. And I was like, gangsta.
Christina, you just made a good point. There was in Daenerys' House of the Undying vision, that really weird, creepy vision she had about a whole bunch of little dwarf men fighting at a woman, and I think it was her. That scene about the hard home scene in the show where the woman had the kids attack her and they were all over her, and the Leaf scene, and the Hodor scene. It's weird when I see these thematic parallels of somebody being attacked by either little things or many things all over their person. I wonder if there's something to that, and if the properties even mean anything. But Alicia, you also made a great point. There's something about history repeating itself, and her face, I thought either Leaf is a bad actress, or she's just, she's surprisingly unbothered about this murder scenario. I mean, you could see the hits going into her, the stabs, and her face was just like, ah, shit. Like,
she knows it's going to happen again, yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't work again. Let me try it again.
She's probably very mentally prepared for this. It's like she's been around for centuries, literally. So she was like, here it is. This is it. I'm old as dirt, and this is the stabbing that I knew was coming one day.
So, random question, somewhat off topic, but not. Who do you guys think is saving Mira? And will we get that the next episode? It didn't seem like they were going to continue that just yet.
Okay, I'll go first since North Remembers is slow on the draw.
Sorry.
Freaking cold hands, yo! And if it's not a cold hands, it's binge and start. Like it has to be.
Hashtag, I'm sorry, can I jump in that joint? Lady Stoneheart, I pray and believe we need her back, and if it's not Lady Stoneheart, it is your monster Bran Stark, and it's cold hands. And it's another cyclic idea that Bran already created him to be there to help him.
That was the random tinfoil timey-wimey theory that I gave on the panel last night. That tracker that Bran has on his arm now, is that a one-time deal, or will it stay and spread like frostbite tends to do? And that timey-wimey, his older self is cold hands. I'm your monster, Bran Stark.
Well, what if
I didn't even think of that. I just thought Bran created white. You're good, Alicia.
Exactly.
You're good.
What if Bran...
Pure tinfoil, but it makes sense the way things are going now.
But what if he couldn't find him until then? What if Bran created a white, but he was lost in the network, and so
even
Cold Hands has been looking for him, And now he's marked, and he shows up at the same damn ass time, like
the most dire time that he would need that help because he doesn't have Hodor anymore.
And they zone in at the same time. Like the others come, they get the signal, he gets the signal, and they ride in, and they come like together because they can't go far. Like Mira cannot carry Bran far. It literally has to be just a few steps.
Can't carry him far or long at all. She's gonna have to stop. Unlike
they have nothing. They have no coats, no jackets, no
weapons,
nothing. They just bounced. So it's not gonna last. Somebody has to come help them, and it makes sense if a signal popped off at Cold Hand's signal tower, the same way it popped off at the other signal tower, and they both came. Others got there a little bit faster, and then Cold Hands came up at the end and saved my boy.
I'm in the chat for a second, and I saw a post from Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat saying Bran is the great other, and Melisandre was right. Hashtag Melisandre was right. And I couldn't help but, when Melisandre actually said that, I think she said it to Stannis, I don't know what that was, but that, dreams only, a couple people have said this to Bran too, that only people who speak to you in dreams are evil, something along those lines.
Dreams are a work of the great other.
Right, like it was a bad thing to have the old god communication. And I can't help but wonder if Jerry is right. Like there's a part of me that goes, is somebody bad showing Bran these things? Is Bran supposed to be doing this? In the book, working a human is an abomination. Eating while you're warged is an abomination. Bran has violated several rules that Vladimir Sixskins was taught were wrong.
But that's the thing. He did all that just offered. He didn't have a teacher before that.
Right. But is he less wrong for that? Is there something in a message?
Well, no. I mean, ignorance of the law doesn't mean you get a pass on the law.
Yeah. So is Mel right? Like the parallels between the old gods and R'hllor. I'm excited about warging in dreams, but it does seem wrong as hell. Like, why is Orell and the Eagle attacking people, and why do they get stuck there? And is that what's about to happen to Bran? Like, I totally feel like Jerry's onto that train, and it could be a bad thing. While it's our favorite character for most of us, he might be like possessed, and it seems like a good thing, but it might be a bad thing. I think that's a super interesting theory.
Maybe that's why he created Cold Hands.
Could be.
You know what? Cold Hands is different. He's different. He's not
exactly. He's different.
He's still part of himself, as if somebody was warging into him, but he's not normal. So there's a lot of precedents for the opinion that he is different, and I just don't think that we're not going to get Cold Hands. I don't want to be all, I try not to jump on these bandwagons. I don't try to jump on the Clegane Bowl bandwagon, the Cold Hands bandwagon. But after this, and seeing them out there, I'm like, what else could happen? Like, Mira's just going to pull him on a little wagon all the way to Castle Black or something. Castle Black's going to be done. Next episode, if the White Walkers are using the Littlefinger teleporter, they will be there by the next episode, full army, and they'll be done. So he needs to get there faster than that. And Mira ain't going to do it on her little wagon cart. Something has to happen. And we saw that shot already of somebody, so I'm like, it has to be. It has to be. And IMDb, spoilers, it's not really spoiler though, because it's on IMDb, like anybody can alter it. It's like a wiki. But they say that the actor that plays Benjen Stark is going to be in the next episode, Blood of My Blood. And his title is like the man beyond the wall.
Warm Hands.
Not Warm Hands.
I think Benjen's been up there.
Sometimes you're like, come on, man.
Warm Hands. He's coming back.
I think Benjen's been up there running around getting his Jason Bourne on, getting intel on the movements of the White Walkers, and now he's coming back, and him and Bran are going to tag team to try to get the word out and pull everybody together. But it's not going to be clean by any means because this is George R. R. Martin and he just doesn't do straight lines like that.
And that will make Bran the last hero. Boom. That just happened.
That just happened. I have something to add to that too.
Yeah, she backed me up. That's my little sister. She was like, bam, co-signer.
Okay. Okay, get me off with that. Okay, Blood of My Blood. I guess we kind of can move on to our future ideas of the next episode. That is right. The next one is Blood of My Blood. So I feel so many parallels for that. Theon and freaking Asha holding it down. Blood of My Blood. We're going to do this shit together. Fuck Nuncle Euron who wants to kill us. We're gonna kick his ass, right? Who else is doing it? Cersei and Jaime. The Tyrells. If Bran is out there with Mira and somebody saves him, it's either gonna be his Uncle Benjen or his mother as some form of reanimated person. I don't think it's Lady Stoneheart. I don't think she's that far north. But if it's Benjen, that is Blood of My Blood, right? I love how many Blood of My Blood parallels can occur next episode. And on top of me trying to find out what the hell happened to Bran when is he stuck in warg mode? Is he like pulling a Vladimir Six Skins? Did he go into something else? Did he go into Ghost? I can't imagine that. But if he went into Ghost in some random way and he's out there fighting with the Jon and Sansa, another Blood of My Blood. Like there's so many possibilities for next episode.
What
and
if
the sibling family connection.
What if Benjen just happened to be in that area and Bran warged his horse? And he didn't light that fire until they came into view and he saw what was going on. More random, but yeah.
That's a possibility. I think we might even be shocked. I think that scene is going to be like so confusing, like this episode was. I don't even know I can't even throw predictions on it. I'm so confused. Like, who's warging what? You know. I don't know. I love it.
We can't. We can't.
We can't.
We quite literally can't.
We can't.
I can't.
We might need to go ahead and get that series going. We
no,
really might.
Like, for real. We should have started it like episode 1, like hashtag I can't. I can't with you, Game of Thrones. So you want some questions?
Yeah.
I saw one from T Baby. Can I say T Baby because it's been
Of course. That's big.
It says I wonder if the others bring winter or if it's an attempt to kill humans. And I love that question because we just said how we saw Mira saw her breath. And did anybody else notice that Bran saw his breath in the Winterfell warg? And the mentions in the show, you didn't notice that thing? When Mira was going, wake up, we need Hodor, Bran breathed. He was starting to get scared while he was watching young Hodor in Winterfell, and he breathed out evidence of the cold. Like,
in Winterfell?
He was confused. In Winterfell. So,
no.
I think there's a metaphorical cold that they bring and a physical cold that they bring, which could also tie into why Melisandre is actually cold. Like, ship's going down. Winter is coming. Hence the name, The Winds of Winter. It's all about to go down with these White Walkers, man.
So coming.
The North knows these things.
Coming.
The North literally remembers.
Literally.
Cold outside.
Cold outside.
Thank you, baby. I love that question. I totally think you're onto something. Yes.
So I have a few questions here, but I wasn't. I'm not sure I deleted everything after we answered it. So we already talked about Varys being a secretary, right? Didn't we talk about that? No? Candace is saying no. Alicia's saying
no. I think we mentioned it. We didn't go into detail.
I think there might have been one of those things where we said we needed a whole other episode for it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
The whole Blackfire thing.
Right.
But you know what? That needs to happen, though. That conversation needs to happen. So, Candace.
I'm down.
Pick a date. I'm down.
Yeah, put that on the minutes. We got to talk about that. Okay.
Noted.
Um, Kinvara knows who the Lord of Light is. It was Three-Eyed Raven, and now it's Bran. Lord of Light's champion is Double A.
That was Reaper. Remember I brought that up?
Did you do that one?
Yeah, we read that quote.
I think that's why I was going to pee. I missed that. I would like to know the answer, but I'll rewatch it. David Adams is the first priestess of the Lord of Light literal or just because she's a priestess? So is she literally the first priestess? Literally? Or is it just because...
That could be.
Being old as hell, there's a high possibility that she's like the literal first priestess. And she might make that old Mel look like a kindergartner.
She really does. Like, Mel is a mess right now. And this
I mean, like, they have like a real high boob, exotic situation going on that I think is a glamour of a beautiful woman. So I'm starting to believe that all the beautiful red priestesses are glamored because it's part of bringing people to your cause. And, you know, obviously the guys love that. They've all been staring at Mel, and some of them can't look at her, and that's what Kinvara is going to get. Period.
What about the guys, though?
Say a side joke.
That's a good point, but they turn more than just guys. Like, Stannis' wife was turned before him. You know,
well, it's not all sexual, but it's one of those superstar things. Like, every woman wants to be her, and every guy wants to sleep with her. One of those things.
I mean, when you see somebody healthy and happy and, like, you know, looking great, you're like, hey, what do you do? I want to do that. You know, it's not necessarily a sexual thing all the time. Sometimes it is.
I meant, what about the red priests themselves, like Thoros? Thoros, he looks the way he does because he fell off the wagon. But the other guy, the older red priest man that they had there, he's not some, like, depiction of great and male specimen.
Even Makoro in the books, like...
Right, so is that a glamour that they only use with the priestesses? And if so, then why?
Well, nobody ever stated that the priests were not comely, but they never said that they were. So maybe they're just kind of average.
Well, Beric wasn't a priest, so he was just revived.
He was a priest.
He never really got into Beric Dondarrion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Thoros.
Because I remember Jane Poole wanted to get with Beric. She wanted to give him the business, but
he did.
I guess I thought I was onto something with those two, but because we've only been shown women, if I have anything to say about that argument, maybe they're just glamored because in that world people don't listen to women off top, so they had to have a little extra zhuzh to be like, pay attention to what I'm saying.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, that's
spot on with that. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. You can't just walk up and be like, look, listen to me because I'm a human. No, look at my face and my boobs and my body, and then
it's like that little target, sign, the little bullseye, where they're like, pay attention to the cleavage, here.
I mean, in the end, she did have to bone Stannis. Like, she had to go there. Okay.
Next question.
Have the Children of the Forest magic? Has the Children of the Forest magic died with them? This is from Grim Reaper. Is their magic gone since they're gone?
I think that's a great question for Alicia, because she's talking about the cycles. And the way that people keep saying that magic is gone from the world, then it's back. What do you have for that, Alicia?
I'm on the fence, actually, because everything does seem to roll in this cycle every few thousand years, and the children are all gone now, but the green sight and warging and skin changing, that all came from them. There are humans that have that magic. They're few and far between now, but they are still there. You know, as long as they don't get turned into whites, I suppose. But I don't know. Where Bran is concerned, for him, it's not gone. He's definitely still has some tasks to be completed. But beyond that, sketchy.
Christina, Pamela Evans asked, is the magic gone from the wall with the children? Is that the same I'm not sure if that was encompassing in that, but that was my first immediate thought when I saw that the last one blew herself up. As far as what we saw that was living, we've been talking since last season about when the wall will come down, and if magic at all is gone, I think we've been led to be told that the children helped build that wall. So it seems like if the whites find out how to get south to it, I mean, the walkers, it's definitely not going to be a challenge for them, especially because they are ice.
To get back south, they have Bran and Mira, and whoever is coming to help them has to go through the wall. If that brand on his hand still acts like a tracker, then they're gonna that's gonna be their breakthrough.
Yeah, you're right. That tracker was like an epic addition. I wonder if that's going to be in the books at all. But that was a good, like, tangible way to understand how the Night King could find Bran. That was so crazy to me.
So if he can find them like that, I'm led to believe that whatever magic they had that was keeping them safe is gone now. And that's what it was. Like, that's why they're like, leave, you got to go. Like, he found you, he marked you. There was no question. Leave. You have to go. Which leads me to believe their whole magic and everything that they had that protected them was gone once the Night's King can lock you in on his GPS. And I think that same magic that they put into the wall was also part of that. So the wall can also be brought down because now they know whatever they needed to know that they didn't know before because they were hiding in a cave. And there's a reason that the children were in a cave with Bloodraven. And it's all to hide. The children created them so they know how to hide from them. They know how to kill them and they know how to hide from them. They can't so they hide. It's okay, go ahead.
And I don't think Bloodraven was the first to be brought out there. Think of how long the children have been out there trying to find the right one that's going to help them completely destroy this nemesis. They were hoping it might be Bloodraven. That didn't work out. He got too old. The sustaining of his life, they couldn't do much more. So they had to bring in Bran. And before Bloodraven, I think there was a few, maybe, that were in there.
Bran after Bran after Bran. Let's research this. Let's research
and Brandon
Bloodravens. Yeah, and their possible connections to Brandon's, because it seems like there's so many Brans, and lots of houses have names that are passed on, but it's almost literally there's like a Bran for every generation. Not every single one.
That's what every the only ones that have a lot of Walters and Walters.
Well, that's different because they name all their kids after Walter to try to get his favor because they want to be his heir. But the Stark family, like, they have kids and they have 3, and they're like, your name is Christina, your name is Candace, and you're Brandon. You know, like
they're like the George Foreman. They're like, you're George and you're George.
Yeah. It's like something there.
Someone on the Facebook thread that I was on, they said that they thought Brandon was the old man in the tree, and I was like, no, this is this character's background, completely different. And while they are 2 separate people, I'm rethinking it now. Bloodraven has 1,000 eyes in one. He wasn't the master of whispers for no reason. So there's always been something extra with him. And that also goes back to his bloodline. You know, his last name is Rivers, but his bloodline is of the north.
He's northern, exactly. He's got the first.
Yeah, I forget about the Riverland part. Sorry.
He's a Rivers, but he's got the blood of the first men, and I can't help but think that if there was some sort of northern bloodline connection to these green seers, these powerful green seers, that have probably in legend been passed off as all these different brands, or a same brand that's probably like 5 different people, because Bran the Builder couldn't possibly have built all the things they said he built, because he would have lived like hundreds of years.
Exactly.
And he would have also had to have the Littlefinger teleporter back then too, to like get around like the wall.
Teleporter was invented.
He had caterpillar equipment, like stuff that doesn't exist in medieval times.
Yeah, he had it way back in the Dawn Age, the Age of Heroes. And he was a hero, and then he was the hero after the Long Night, and then he built everything after that. Like, okay.
I mean, that's like, I don't think there's reincarnation per se, but and another reference to tinfoil, but Preston Jacobs talks about that in his Thousand Worlds series. Whenever Martin writes about time travel, it's not the person that goes back or does these things. They send their consciousness back. So that is Bran through the ages. Time traveler Bran, Don Willi called it.
Don Willi, damn you!
Yeah, shout out to Don Willi for that.
Shout out Don Willi.
I literally wrote under his video, I was like, oh my god, you did that. Like, I don't even understand it. I know when the season first started and Bran got in his coma, for 2 seconds, I was like, I had no confidence in my theory. I was like, what if he's never awake? What if he's dreaming all this? You know, but then in the story, to stick to be committed to a theory like he was and be right about it, I commend that, because I've been randomly thinking lots of stupid things. A couple of, maybe one of them came true in the 5 years or whatever this show's been on. But what he said was like, oh my god, finally one of these theories is freaking proven, at least on the show, you know? And I love that. And what you're saying about history repeating itself and the consciousness and even the Preston theories, Alicia, I couldn't help but think, is Bran dreaming this whole existence and he never woke up? He never woke up when Lady got killed. Like, he's been dreaming about everything since he fell out that window.
That's too
That'd
much.
be crazy.
I got a sidebar for a second. Hold on.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Jerry, you're a fool.
What did you say?
Apparently, it's not just Brienne that's a criminal now. All the Tyrells, all the Lannisters.
Hashtag
Jerry, hashtag we can't. We can't right now. Stop it.
We cannot. Do not listen to Jerry the Steamboat Targaryen. He will fill your mind.
I feel like I want to give him a speech where the Hound told Arya, do you think that none of your family are murderers? Like, who in this series is not a criminal?
I'm a criminal right now,
Exactly.
just about this treason.
It's like Sir Pounce. Sir Pounce is innocent. That's all.
No, Sir Pounce is a story high.
We don't know what Sir Pounce has been doing in King's Landing running
Stop
around.
it.
The camera hasn't been on him. I'm just saying.
Question, guys. Question. Good question. You ready?
Yeah.
From the Grim Reaper, like literally Grim Reaper, like you have the epic questions, like for real. I love this stuff. So I'm just saying he, because I just assume Grim Reaper. He says, what about the always has to be a Stark at Winterfell?
That was the first thing that really caught my mind going through this series. Why does there always need to be a Stark in Winterfell? I think it has to do with back with the First Men, when House Stark was first established by Brandon, and that part of that pact, you know, the wise ones, Starks always come in trying to talk reason. Yeah, they fight their killers, but they do have reason behind them as well. So they made that pact, and part of it was Starks have to not only be at Winterfell, but there should maybe always be one at the Wall to man that station. Not necessarily be the Lord Commander, but just be there when shit goes down. I mean, look at how stuff went down at the Wall. When Benjen disappeared, shit started fucking up. Excuse my language, sorry.
But there's no Stark there. There's a Snow there.
I mean, there's a half Stark there, but maybe that half isn't enough.
Technically.
I think the half is enough. I totally am with you on that, Alicia. I believe Jon is Targaryen, but I guess in my own personal viewpoint of life, I don't really believe in half siblings in that way, as strong as the show is pushing that. Like, your blood is your blood. Your mother is your father, and you're both those things.
Agreed. Agreed. I have step siblings, and I love them all like we're all one.
Yeah. So part of me feels like I can't say he's not the Stark on the Wall. We have seven of us total, and Papa was a Rolling Stone, and 3 mothers, and we're all, that's my sister, that's my brother. It's the same thing. There's
Which is why I can't with Catelyn Stark. I might do a video.
I hated Catelyn for that.
Catelyn Stark. You do not blame the child for the mistakes of the parent.
Write it down. Write the I can't with Catelyn Stark. I can't with somebody needs to be writing it down. Like I can't with. And then we'll do like 5-minute segments of all things we can't.
It'll be like this week on I can't. Hashtag I can't this week.
I can't with and his epic boat.
I can't with calling this boy bastard all day. The boy has a damn name, Catelyn.
I can't with
this damn name.
This bastard.
The one time she said this young man's name is John, it should have been you that fell out the window. Really, bitch?
I can't.
Come on, man. Your father's house words are family, duty, honor. Family. What the hell?
I can't with that family.
I'm with you on that. I don't like Tully. I don't like her deal. I don't like her sister. They're a bunch of redheaded biatches. I just don't feel them.
Her sister. Oof. That's gonna be number 2 on my list. I can't with Lysa Tully.
I can't deal with Lysa and her psychosis about sleeping with Littlefinger 20 years ago.
I thought you said with the Tullys. It was about to be another situation.
I think it's midnight now, and I think I'm losing my mind a little bit.
Okay, I'll choose one more.
All right, go ahead, Christina.
I know. I didn't realize it was so late.
Me either.
That's what happens when you're in good company.
Yeah.
It's something you can't just do. Like we sit here and we'll go in and like we'll fall asleep like halfway in the bed.
Like, man, are you still there? Are you still awake?
Wake up. Go to sleep. Candace. Hey, wake up. Hang the phone up. Okay. So this is from Jerry. Totally off topic of everything we were talking about, and this is how we're going to end it. Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat says, will my love Marjorie outgame the High Sparrow?
Say that again?
He says, will my love, his love, Marjorie...
The criminal?
Yeah.
Marjorie is already playing that fool. Yes, Jerry. Yes. She is seeing him for the crazy zealot that he is. Game recognized game. If she can manipulate Joffrey's crazy ass into showing her how to shoot a bow and be like, I love killing things with you, Joffrey. I'm going to be the best wife ever.
Murder's fun.
Playing that dude. She's playing that dude. Religion is fun. Sure, I'm into it. Book of the Stranger.
Agreed.
She's listening to that shit. She's a smart, intuitive girl. It makes me think of Dany saying, I may just be a young girl and ignorant of war, but excuse me if I think this is the way it should go. Marjorie knows how to play that coy role. That chick is way more worldly than she puts on to be.
I don't know what happened with their mom, but when it comes to Marjorie, she was raised from birth by hand by the Queen of Thorns. Lady Olenna has it going on, so I think Marjorie is going to be okay. You know, I wouldn't put it past her. She's cunning and conniving like that. She's cunning and conniving like that. You remember, she stole her sister's dude. That's how she even got the husband that she got. So
the old fight.
Off the neck.
The old fight.
He couldn't walk. She put it on him.
Exactly.
And she was like, you'll be better than me. Like, you have more potential than I ever had. I will not ever, ever, ever put anything past Marjorie. Because Olenna Tyrell's old ass said Marjorie was going to be Olenna 3.0. So I've been watching her ever since. I was like, let's see what she does. Let's see what she does. And honestly, when Marjorie, he let her see Loras and see how messed up Loras Tyrell was, and she was like, look, dude, stay strong. And he's like, just make it stop, because I'm tired, and I've been getting beaten and tortured.
I can't
with Loras in the woods.
I can't.
They took, Book Loras was a freaking little pretty rose gangster.
Exactly. Show Loras is a little bitch.
And he's not even pretty on the show. He's just like barely.
He's getting ready to work for Marvel, so I don't expect anything from his character.
Yeah.
For the rest of the series at all.
Remember that scene when Sansa was like, I like your brooch. He was like, it's not really a brooch. It's more like It's more like a pin. Like, oh shit.
We were talking about
Oh
that.
shit.
And he was like, I
Indeed.
wanted my bride to have an embroidered, like, was talking about all the, like, delicacy
But
of her dress.
like, yeah, mirrorish lace. Have some mirrorish lace.
Flamboyant about her outfit. And he was like, but not you, but, like, my wife. He was, like, talking about, like, when I have a wedding, I'm going to have all these things. And he was like, well, yeah, you'll be there.
You'll be there, of course.
Right.
You'll be there.
I'll have all this pretty stuff and also you.
And you.
And my brooch.
Yeah, and my lace and my...
I hate what they did. I hate what they did to show Loris because it makes the Tyrell seem like a bunch of bitches overall. They've taken Mace Tyrell down. It's a whole nother hashtag I can't. He's supposed to be a thuggish army, a good army, a strong commander, and they made a joke out of him.
Well, he was never really...
Every scene he's in, he's more like a jokey. And if he's playing them, I'll be okay with that, but I haven't seen that happen yet. So I just don't like that he's this jovial, annoying, happy uncle type when he should be a little more Randall Tarley type.
What happened after he left Braavos? Like, nobody's going to talk about how Meryn Trant just got shanked? Dude! Like, a heavy member of the Kingsguard was murdered, and no one's talking about it?
Where the hell is Bran?
That's another good question.
Bran
Maybe the Snakes took care of him, too. Maybe, yeah, he's
make it back.
with what is it, the round guy?
Bran is with Lully. Bran is with Lully. Silkwood.
No.
Right?
Jamie said he was going to give him a better wife and a better castle.
And they showed Jamie going back to King's Landing, but they never showed Bran.
Bran is at River Run about to help Brienne and Pod wreck some shit and free the Blackfish.
Why would he be at River Run?
So soon. Like, how would Jamie have known to send him there?
The teleporter.
Well,
the teleporter gives orders too.
You can't just use that. Like, yeah, you can't. Well, a teleporter. You can't just pull that out your ass whenever you are stuck in a...
Well, if you're D&D, apparently you can, because they have been.
I thought that's how it works. I'm sorry.
Literally, that nigga... I'm sorry, damn. I said I was going to say the N-word on it. But that dude, Littlefinger, traveled from the Vale to Moat Cailin in one episode.
Not even a whole episode. In like 5 minutes of an episode. When in the beginning, it took them a month, which was like 2 or 3 episodes to get from the north to King's Landing. Apparently the teleporter was
that for us. I think that's for us. They're like, look, we're going to show them just how fast. I mean, Theon got there like, boom. Theon. Winterfell, next day, boom. Iron Islands. Peter, boom. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's not waste time. Who needs to travel? Just get there already. Hey, next episode, Bran's going to be in the Riverlands. And Theon and Jorah are going to be in Volantis. And who else moved?
They'll be in Marine. They'll be at the fucking castle. As a matter of fact, that's why they made sure that Varys said it was a fortnight since there was violence, because they want us to know some time passed. That's why Theon got his balls back. A little bit of teleporter time passed by.
Yep.
Sorry.
If I could put my balls,
that sums it up.
I teleport my balls to Volantis.
I need to teleport my balls to the Mega Millions. I'm sorry. That was random.
What happened with our last question? We got
Hashtag I can't number 4 is I can't with y'all.
I can't with myself. But you know what? I feel like Monday is the perfect day to talk about it. Because you have Sunday, like, you go through all the trauma. And me and Candace, like, cakes, like, you call me. I was trying to go live with a Hives Watch, and I was like, oh, my God. I know, right? What? Hodor, hold the door. I know. Summer. Okay, I gotta go. And, like, I was trying to go live. Then I went live, and I lost my signal. And then I just went and laid in my bed, and I was just like, hold the door. And, like, I didn't talk to him.
Too soon, Jerry. Too soon.
I told him it was too soon.
Jerry says, you girls held the door tonight, and I appreciate that compliment, Jerry. I really do, but too soon, man. Too soon.
Jerry, I told you last night and this morning it was too soon. You keep doing this. It really is too soon. Like,
Jerry, Steamboat Targaryen, the criminal, is what's going on right now.
It was a sacrifice, and that's what makes it so bad. It wasn't just a murder, death, kill. It was a hold the door while you get away, while you're warging into me and making me do this so you can get away. Sacrifice. It was tragic. It was worse than Summer to me, honestly.
And Hodor knew that's been coming his whole life. That's what hits it 1,000 times more.
Yeah,
And he didn't do anything to try to deviate. He stood fast. He is a bannerman of House Stark.
Okay, guys. I went to sleep sad last night. I can't go to sleep sad tonight. We have to end this on a joke. I have to.
Okay, then we need to deviate from this episode.
Yeah.
No, like, what can we say?
How about an intro to I Can't?
What do you guys think about when Bran was telling Sansa that she can't leave her at the wall, and she said,
that was funny.
And that wildling
there are other men.
With the beard.
Her face when Tormund looked at her. Her face when Tormund looked at her and she turns and he starts smiling. She's just like, ugh. It's the most disgusted face I've ever seen on anyone.
Tormund's gonna hit that.
Oh, T went to bed already.
I can't.
T went to bed already. She's gonna watch this later and she's gonna come after you, Sphinx.
He's gonna hit that.
You can't be just giving her man away to other chicks.
I mean, I wanted him too for myself, but he ain't showed up to steal me. But he's gonna steal Brienne. He's gonna try it, and they're gonna get into a fisticuffs, and it's gonna be gross and sexy.
Like you said, wrestling and sex in the back of Dad's van or truck, whatever it was.
My tongue feels like it has fur on it when I talk about it because it's just so gross. I'm just like, but it's gonna happen.
What are you talking about?
You didn't. Oh, okay. You weren't on the. I don't think you were in the chat room, North. We were. I don't remember how we even got on the subject, but your sister, the Great Sphinx, came on saying that it's like when you're young and you're wrestling with the boy you like, and it's all innocent until you start dry humping, and then you're having sex in the back of his dad's truck.
I did see that, and I thought I was there for that. And I was
like, wait, hold on. Did you just tell like a life story right there?
I remember that story.
I'm actually just I was here for that.
Dad didn't have a pickup truck, so I know that's not true. She was just using an analogy.
If I say hush, they're gonna believe you.
Hypothetically speaking.
It wasn't a pickup.
She was a maiden fair. She's still a maiden fair.
Yeah, after 4 kids. I'm a maiden.
With that small child of the forest that's running around in the background.
I'm a maiden. Gatehouse Stina.
Gatehouse Amy? Oh God, I can't. Don't get me started. We have to wrap it up.
I can't. Gatehouse Amy.
Yeah, no.
Gatehouse Amy.
I can't with wrapping it up with y'all. I'm still giggling.
I just gotta say that does anybody else think that Marjorie is like a highborn Gatehouse Amy?
In the books, yeah.
Everybody's had a turn.
But in the books too, she's like super religious, or at least she knows like the word. So when the high school was like, "Oh, you know the 7-pointed star," I was like, "Hello, it's Marjorie." Like she stays in the set, like playing her role. Of course, she knows it. I didn't like that. Jerry's mad. He said, "Don't talk about his love like that." Spots.
Sorry for talking about that criminal, Jerry. We apologize.
Marjorie is a criminal. She was drinking moon tea. She done cheated on Tommen. I'm just messing with you, Jerry. I get with Marjorie. I'm all about House Tyrell, but she is a Gatehouse Marjorie, and I'm not mad at her. She plays the game well.
Hey, yeah, she did what she had to do, man.
She's like, I'll sleep with you, gay husband, and I'll let my brother sleep with you first because I'm about my business. Family, duty, honor. You'll put a baby in me yet.
Well, we have to leave, but I have to say this real quick. Cersei said that most highborn girls lose their maidenhead to a horse. You know she liked to stay riding in what's it called? Falconing, ravening, when they send the birds out.
Does that sound like a Dothraki story?
That's very true. See, I didn't even go there, Candace. I'm thinking because I was a young athlete, so I know, yeah, you horse riding, you can totally pop your cherry. But you can. The Dothraki. We're supposed to be wrapping up, ladies.
I know. Okay. Jesus, you dang sisters, you're not so silent at all, and this is why we we have to get together more often.
Yes, we do.
So much, Alicia.
Thank y'all for inviting me on. I'm so glad to start doing these things with y'all. You ladies are awesome. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Everybody in the chat, thank you for staying with our craziness. We appreciate it. Love chatting with all of you. You know, I've been chatting with y'all in the chats for a long time now, so I'm glad to be starting to get to know everybody in the fandom.
Cakes. The North remembers.
No nicknames on the chat. All right, that's out there. Thank you, Sphinx, for having me. I love doing the Not So Silent Sisters. Alicia, thank you so much for being on. This has been an epic dynamic to bounce these ideas off of both of you guys. I love this stuff. I'm going to totally be sleepy tomorrow, but at least I'm a little less sad about the episode. And
don't bring it up. Don't
the comic relief. I'm not going to do it.
No, you better
I'm not going to do it. I just want to say thank you guys, whoever's still in the chat, awake with us in our crazy selves. This is what we do. Hashtag I can't. I literally sit on the phone with my sister, and I can't go to her house and watch Game of Thrones because I never go home. And we're deciding who's going to drive home in their cups. So none of us go to watch it together. We just watch it like satellite, and so we can drink from our Game of Thrones mugs and have fun. So we appreciate y'all being here with us to do it on a weeknight. Hashtag Mondays. Hashtag I can't.
That's so true and correct. Literally, we've been doing this for years. Me and my sister. We have our epic discussions after every episode. So it's really fun to be able to share with other people and to have you, Alicia, join us, and it's so much fun. And Monday night is good for me. With my particular schedule, I'm totes down with doing the Not So Silent Sisters every Monday, and we can just meet up. I think we got together at 9 tonight, and that probably works best for me. So, we'll work on it, and we'll figure out the time. But Monday works for me for Not So Silent Sisters. I have the Chicken and the Sphinx on Tuesday night, and you can look out for the Hypes Watch Total Review on Friday night. Hypes Watch Q&A on Saturday, Tony Teflon's pregame show on Sunday. This is just an exciting time for Game of Thrones. There's so much happening, and I love it. I love it all. I wish I could just not work and just watch YouTube all day. It's a full-time job.
If only.
No.
Let me interject one more thing. Totally off fandom, but for any of you Walking Dead fans out there, if you're interested in the comics but you don't really want to go get them, go over to the Walking Bread channel. They do really, really well with the motion comics, and within the next 2 episodes or so, yours truly will be helping act out the voice of Michonne, so come check us out.
Hey now, you get it, girl. Let me get on the cast.
Go hit them up. They're always looking for people.
That is so cool.
Are you going? You saying, Candace? Oh, my earrings are messed up.
Oh God, I can't.
We can't. All right, we can't be here any longer. We literally
Good night,
can't.
darling.
I love you guys. I will see y'all in the chats sometime this week.
Thank you guys.
Love ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Subscribe to all 3 of us. Alicia Kingston, the North Remembers, Christina the Sphinx. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Monday with more emotional trauma.
Bala Magulis.
Winter is coming.
Bye,